Hello and welcome to Gerhardt's Tales from Altdorf. What will our young noble get up to when he is let loose without, let's say, a chaperone? We'll find out very soon as we deal with... Hi.
Hello.
I'm really looking forward to this one because I'm aware of the many issues that sit before Gerhardt, and I'm very keen to see what he's going to do when he finds out that in the morning he doesn't necessarily have all the people who would normally be following him with him because they all have their own little stories they're pursuing. But we'll get on to that as we go. So let's start on the morning after the night before. As you awake in your cabin, and Lucas is sitting, writing a letter in the corner. It's all kind of scrunched up. There's just two bunks. You can decide whether you're top or bottom. Take that as you will.
I'll take top bunk, probably.
Marvellous. And he'll be working away with the quill as you stretch and move. He looks up to see if you're awake.
Oh, morning, Lucas.
Good morning.
Have you been awake for long?
About an hour.
Hour. Oh, thank you very much for being so quiet. I appreciate that. What are you writing?
I'm writing a letter, it says,
Right.
to my wife.
Oh, good.
And we've received a letter.
What? How have we received it? Oh, thank you very much. Letter.
Somewhat hastily scrawled, and on it says, I have to go, I'll be back later. Birdie.
Right. Okay, well, she's got a good hand.
Yes, well, she's not the only one who's left.
Oh, okay. Who, people gone with her?
Well, Leopold obviously isn't here because he has been kidnapped by his own people. So I went out to fetch the breakfast, and Joseph, by the way, makes a marvellous line of morning porridge. Unfortunately, yours is cold.
Right, okay.
And, pardon me, let me just put that down. Where was I? Right, so I went out, and Birdie was scarpering off, and I said, can you at least leave a note so that, obviously, you are aware of what has occurred. So she wrote one down and then just ran.
Very direct.
And then she came back again and passed me a note that she'd received from Malamena wife, which was, don't leave Gerhardt alone. She said, passing it to me, that's your problem now. And that was that.
Right, okay. Well, I mean, that's fine.
Elric's clearly gone off for whatever it is that he's doing at his college.
Elric's gone too?
Yes.
Oh, sure, wizarding.
Exactly. He's got his graduation or whatever. So that leaves us.
It's a shame. I would have liked to have seen that, really. Just with magic and everything, the ability to just make nothing out of, well, something out of nothing is quite remarkable, ultimately. What about you, May? Where is she?
God's alone now. She's not in a room.
Are you sure? She is very...
I don't think she's in her room, Master.
Right.
I went in because I was knocking and doing a little look around, and I was actually going to have a little heart-to-heart, tete-a-tete, that sort of thing, to find out exactly where she was sitting. But no, she's gone as well.
Oh, okay.
I asked. No one's seen her.
Right. Well, if that's the case, I think the day is probably our own to take as we will.
Yes, so on that, I am absolutely terrified that you're going to go somewhere that you're known.
Sure. Well, I mean...
Would I be correct?
Not necessarily. So, Lucas, the interesting thing is, I could be seen as myself wherever, but also this style, this look, it's not necessarily just my own. Somewhat, it is somewhat of the higher fashion. So, at a glance, I could be anyone who is obviously very fashionable at the time, admittedly a bit dirty.
I have a question.
Sure.
I've been mulling this and what we encountered on the road.
Myself, the clone or
not a word you probably know, but double most certainly.
Yeah, double. That's the one.
He's a Lieberung. Now, from what the father says, the Lieberungs, they're a minor family, indeed. How likely is it that he's your brother? As in, is your father known for, shall we say, straying? The answer is uncomfortably yes, but you may not want to admit that. Your mother and father don't necessarily get on well.
I'm aware that my old man got on quite well with Yume's mum, didn't he?
For example, yes.
Yes. And I believe we also came across that.
Yes, you did.
Cook.
Yes, you did. And apparently he'd been over there too.
Yeah.
So
okay.
chances are higher than you might like to admit.
Yes. Well, I mean, regardless of that, noble bloodlines run thick and have gone a long time. So it could just be a coincidence that be the case. And it's probably shared.
I was hoping the
past.
answer, he said, not to interrupt, sir, but I was hoping that the answer would be yes.
Well,
because if it is, that makes it much easier for you to move underneath the guise of someone else than the alternative. If, for example, it is relatively known in certain quarters, I don't know the politics of the south of Reichland, but if it's relatively known that your, as you say, blood runs thick, and that your father wasn't entirely faithful, then that means that it is far more likely that people will believe that you are someone that you claim to be, he says, looking over at the affidavit that's sitting by your cushion.
Yes, well, Lucas, people may say whatever they say. I am of the opinion that, and knowing my father, he probably has always done what is right and what should be done as per the law. So, what does the law say?
Well, the law says that he's the Duke and he can do whatever he wants.
Well, yes, obviously, but what is right in people's view? Anyway,
depends which particular cult you talk to.
Yes.
I'm sure that Yume would have quite a different view to Father Leopold, for example.
Very true. Gerhardt's looking a little uncomfortable as topic of conversation.
I understand that this, as he reads it quite quickly, makes you uncomfortable, but I wish to be in a position where I can actually provide you with useful advice. Okay. And if the answer is that your father is a strict Sigmarite who very much believes in their values and would never be seen doing this, then I would suggest that you very rarely use this particular alternate version of yourself, so to speak, because those in the know won't believe it. They'll think it's untrue, and they will almost certainly report if someone like yourself passes by. Alternatively, if there is a potential line of, and I hesitate to say this, my lord, but there's no point in not being blunt, bastards. If there are several bastards potentially running around who may have your, let's say, features or something similar to yourself, then let's not just use it. Let's use it. You've got a scar. You already look different. And if I may say so, you look different from when I first met you. You're leaner. You're not carrying as much weight as you were then. You've been out on the road for some time, and it's clearly made a difference.
It's awful food. Really.
Well, all the stew, my lord.
Exactly.
One understands why the peasantry looks the way it does.
So, I understand your point. Let's just say it would be reasonable to assume that my features may appear on other people's faces, whether that be due to anything else or not. It's just seen occasionally.
Well, thank the gods that that's the case, because that makes everything much easier. My concerns for you traveling over to if I'm to read your hints that you've been dropping to the father repeatedly, you very much intend to go back to your old haunts.
So, yes, but
I'm not as concerned as I was.
Good, and nor should you be, Lucas. So. The problem is, unless you know the full extent of a plan, it's just a line or a sentence.
Yes, quite.
So, I will not be going full gusto. Look at me. For example, my green velvet cloak is gone. That is mainly what people would have been used to seeing me in around here anyway. So, and really, you look at the cloak more than the person, if I'm completely honest, especially in high society.
That's not unfair.
No, and. Well, I'm also dirty. That's quite obvious. My clothes are less than stellar at the moment.
You considered purchasing another?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm doing in a minute. So
it
will be
another green velvet cloak.
Oh, that is a very good idea, Lucas. Lucas has a very good idea. Lovely, excellent.
If you're looking for one that is unmarked, I would suggest not going to any of the finer tailors.
Well, I would be looking for if I am meant to make this sort of this second me more sellable.
So ridiculous. Yes.
What's the Liberung badge?
You are not. Oh, you've got Lord Heraldry, don't you? I'll roll for him as well, just in case he knows it. He does not.
It depends if I've advanced this. It could be really good. It could be really bad. It's really good. 7 successes.
You absolutely know it. Your father had all of the heraldic devices for not just Ubersreich, but all of the Vorbergland, the land that lies between the forests and the mountains, before the Bergs. Land where your father's lands were drilled into you, and you can almost say it by rote. Twin hanging chains and a skull.
Oh, that's badass as well. That's good. Yes, please, I'll have that.
Ah, yeah, badass.
Sweet. Okay.
Just in case you didn't know, sign of Ulrich.
Is it?
Absolutely is.
Very good.
It's a little wolf because he's the god of rock.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, Lucas, I know it.
Sign of Sigmar, or sign of Sigmar when you're being insulting.
It's the Twin-tailed comet.
Twin-tailed comet.
Nice.
Good to know.
So,
if you're commissioning a badge, that might take too long, unless we can find somebody who has an entire afternoon free, which in a city of this size seems unlikely. While similarly, possibly likely, if you know anyone. I can't say I know Altdorf frightfully well anymore. I've not really lived here for almost 20 years.
No, well, I mean, obviously, when we had that conversation around the day that the Emperor was around twice, if you know what I mean. No, it's okay. I know some places. I know some things where we can go. I don't know a very good tailor. I probably do know quite a good tailor, but one who would be up to the speed.
To create a badge, I mean, you've most of your I'm not that rich, my father's stipend's nowhere near as big as it should be. Clothes purchases have gone through Luigi and Salvatore. They have branches across the empire, and they are known for servicing the upper middle class and the upper class. They are also known in your world, because you've got a little bit extra knowledge, they are also known for being some of the most notorious fences in the empire. Where they buy goods in one part of the empire, ship it over to an outlet elsewhere, and sell it there.
How often, knowing that, how often do items of clothing with badges of other houses?
Frequently, but that's special stock, so to speak. Okay. And that would immediately out you to whomever you're talking to as someone who knows that they have special stock, which you may or may not wish to do. And further, it creates a trail that may be bribed out of people at a later date. But LNS are known for their discretion. You have a branch in Ubersreich as well, for example.
Yes.
And you have been there multiple times when you were younger. Once dragged Leopold in there, he found the entire thing deeply embarrassing, didn't know what to do with himself.
Well, I mean, we spent 4 hours there. Barely enough time to get your hands dirty.
He would have been happier with 2 minutes.
Very good. Okay. That's interesting. No, I don't think there'll be. We might luck out potentially. We could have a conversation with at Luigi Salvatore's. See if they have anything around the back. You'll probably have to do the questioning for that, just because it can leave a little bit of a trail.
Yeah, that won't be a problem.
Excellent.
I can do that. Yes.
I mean to ask, do you need new glasses after the
actually
the loss of eye?
Yes, he puts his hand up. He has got his glasses with a nice hinge in the middle. This lens is obviously now useless, and he used to have lenses on that side. He's attached to this side. He says, "I'll admit to feeling odd. My clothes are bloody still, and this lens is. I mean, obviously my eye. I can't use this one.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind an eye patch that didn't look so, horrendous. This looks like it's been fashioned in exactly the way that it was fashioned."
All right. Well, then we can get something for you as well, then, if that's the case, because you've got to look the part, or at least better.
Yes. Eye patches. If you're going to LNS, they'll have something.
Lovely. Okay. Perfect. So that's one thing I wish to do today. The other thing I wish to do today is I wish to visit the printers. But we'll probably do that once we get some new clothing sorted, realistically, so that we look a bit better and a bit more presentable. I also
Clothing first.
wish to see if...
Do you mind if I finish my letter?
No, not at all.
He says-
What are you? What's the subject matter?
As I
If
said,
I
I'm just
may
writing
ask.
to my wife, telling her that I won't be back for some time.
Right. Okay. Do you need a holiday?
I mean, it's very nice of you to offer, but where would I find you?
That's actually a very good point. Maybe at some point we should have a conversation around you having a little bit of time.
Perhaps when we decide to stay in a location for longer than 3 days.
Agreed. Yes, very much so.
It would take at least a month and a half for me to do a trip around to see my wife and my children.
No, we could visit.
Oh, well, if we ever happen to find ourselves on the border of the wasteland, quite some distance from here, that would be marvellous.
Excellent. Well, you never know. You know, we've travelled. I mean, not admittedly that far. That's sort of.
Takes out some blotting sand, throws it over, starts folding it, and then takes out a small signet ring, which he pops onto his finger and seals it.
What is Lucas's family crest out of curiosity?
It's 3 flames.
Oh.
And you can see one of them has got a bar across it. You're not quite sure what that means. As he presses it in, the wax bulges, looks at it, and then writes on the front. Those messengers, that I think possibly passing it through there would be a good idea. The Imperial Post Office, I'm not sure I want to use that. I could employ one of them.
No, and there's nothing. I'm sure you've been very careful.
Of course.
Nothing incriminating.
I've not mentioned anything.
Okay, good man.
Nothing more than I will be busy for some time.
Okay. And Gerhardt kind of swings his legs off the side of the bunk, reaches down for the cold porridge. Is it porridge or is it stew? Is it?
It's porridge.
Okay, fine. I mean, I don't like cold porridge either. That's a bad time. It's sort of coagulated into those nice solid lumps that it gets into. The spoon cuts directly through it like a cake.
Passes over a small cup. It's not even a goblet of wine.
Okay.
I'll say one thing for our host. He likes his wine. There are about 200 bottles below deck.
Really?
Yes, he drinks every evening. From the 7th bell, he no longer works. He just leans back, puts his feet up, sits on his barge, and drinks at least a bottle of wine.
Well, there's something incredibly romantic about that, really, don't you think?
Yes, well, I spoke to him this morning, and he liked to think it was romantic. I heard from below decks one of his boatmen claiming that it was something quite different, mostly involving drunkenness and sottedness.
Right.
Which I thought was funny.
Well, yes, depends how you want to live your life.
Quite, but he seems to be an entirely pleasant fellow. He wouldn't shut up, actually. Just looking over at the door. I say that a little bit more quietly. But yeah, he wouldn't shut up. He's off trading this morning.
Okay.
So he's not here.
When you say wouldn't shut up...
Oh, he just kept on talking and talking and talking about nothing, inconsequentialities.
Right.
He's not open mouthed. The father, we were talking last night, and he tells me that he effectively smuggled him out of Ubersreich.
Okay, so he can keep his nose.
I think it's possible that he might actually be a smuggler, which is potentially to our benefit.
Roguish and also still quite romantic, I suppose.
It's good to know where your mind lies with this. Shall we fetch breakfast from elsewhere?
Yes, I think so.
The porridge was quite good when it was warm.
Fantastic. I mean, now it's not, so that's terrific.
Streams! Right, I'll go and see if I can fetch one of the cabs.
Yes.
They're surprisingly well serviced here in the Reichsport, so I imagine we'll be able to fetch one in no time at all. If you get yourself dressed, my lord, will you be okay doing that by yourself?
Oh, yes, I've done it a few times now, so it should be fine. Lucas, before you go...
Yes.
What's happening? Everything seems to be wrong.
Oh, and he sits back down again. Oh, we're having this conversation.
I mean, I don't know if it's classed as a specific conversation. Just it's not working the way it should work.
Why do you think I'm working for you?
Because we found you in a cave and you didn't have any employment?
Well, yes, of course, but I could have easily returned to Altdorf.
Right.
I knew who you were immediately. Of that, there was no doubt. If you remember the discussion we had not long after the cave, when we had our first, shall we say, debate, our haggling over the contract, which you then swore I think just 4 days later that you definitely didn't sign, as I recall.
Yes, it was after I saw how much it was.
Well, as you said, your father's paying for it, not you. Yes, yes, I agree, my lord. What happened in Ubersreich is a travesty.
Well,
It stands against everything Magnus tried to put in place. All of the stock guards that are supposed to keep us safe from civil issues and dissolution have been attacked.
yes. I mean, that is obviously bad.
Quite.
But I don't. That's not really what I mean. I mean, just in general. We've seen people who should be safe and be looked after by their lords and by their nobles, and the people who are beholden on, who they are beholden on to, and who should be beholden on to them, abandoned and ignored.
Yes.
And out in the world. And I know not Ubersreich. I know Altdorf is somewhat different, and that's kind of why I enjoy it here. It's freeing. You're there's so many of us. You're actually just a normal person, if that makes sense. And well, to a degree, I know not necessarily once you get over on the east side of the city.
There is something wrong, my lord.
Yes.
Of that there is no doubt. I am not blind to it. I was distant from it. Of that there is also no doubt. I was happily working for the Duke of Coxwold without any real awareness of any of the trouble that was brewing beyond our borders. As far as I was concerned, everything was as it should be. And after not more than 2 months of travelling with the good Duke, when he had heard word of some events, not even the Ubersreich events, he wouldn't tell me what they were, which was very rare for him. He and I shared a very close relationship, and we shared, but he stopped. And then we found ourselves in a variety of very dark places, and eventually we were captured, as you know, in Delbrenhof, not far away, and tortured. They tortured him. And if it hadn't been for your relatively timely arrival, I'm not sure any of us would have survived. We had a witch with us. I mean, I apologise. We had a Magister of the Orders, Eleanor Grauman. She seemed to be more than capable. And as far as one can tell, she allowed herself to be captured so she could say what they were looking for. She allowed my lord to be captured as well. I say that with a certain level of hesitation, my lord. But should you ever find yourself in a position where a Grey Magister offers their services, be aware that this could be the outcome that you eventually arrive at.
Yes. No. This was Alana, wasn't it?
Yeah, you met her. Yes. She seemed to get on very well with the elf.
Yes, Gerhardt's notes were, "Don't trust this woman."
I think that's fair.
That's good. No, I must say,
but he was chasing something, and then I heard what happened. I mean, we heard when we were on the road by Del Bren what had happened in Ubersreich, and that caused him to pale. I mean, he paled off.
Yes.
That was obviously bad news, but there was no reason for him to be so upset by it. He was upset to its core, and he stopped talking to anyone, including Alana, including myself, and I just found myself getting traipsed around until eventually we were captured.
Do you mean more upset than we have met other nobles who are?
Oh, much more. He did not like the sound of it one bit. Now, obviously, we're all very upset. I mean, I'm barely a noble. I'm a bastard son of a noble. I had my education paid for me, and I have been in a very good position. I've been very lucky throughout my life. Fortunate. I've been looked after. But we can recognise just how awful what happened down there was. It's a travesty, not because of the individuals involved, and I apologise, my lord, for suggesting such a thing, since it directly impacts your family, but for what it means to Magnus's empire.
Yes. Well.
And he was moved. And then you arrived, and the second I saw you, and I knew what had occurred there, I knew exactly who you were, and I knew that I had to either be on the right side or the wrong side, and the right side is most definitely not with what the Emperor did.
Well, I mean, that is a excellent display of loyalty, Lucas, just to begin with. Not necessarily to myself, more to the laws that govern the land.
Well, yes.
Which actually probably should be the way it should be, is less to, and maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's that.
May I be blunt, my lord?
You may. Yes. Sorry.
You shouldn't say sorry.
No, that's true. I should not say sorry.
You shouldn't. This is what I'm going to be blunt about.
Yes.
The reason that I enjoyed your service and chose to join you was a simple conversation I oversaw that you had with Leopold, the father. I still find it odd that he requests that I call him Leopold. But the father, and if you remember the chap called Ulrich Ulrichsen, who was leading a small contingent of Midlanders that we met on the barge. If you remember him.
Yes.
And I watched this conversation, and the father was charismatic. He showed leadership, and he was clearly trying to make you do the same. And you were consciously moving your way from it, choosing not to put yourself in that position, allowing the father to fulfill that role. And it was a single glance that you gave him, just one, when you looked up at him, and there was a slight smirk.
Well,
that was the day I decided that I wanted to be in your service, because it was quite clear that you chose to do that. It was quite clear what you were doing. It was quite clear that you realized what you're doing, and then afterwards, as you smirked, you had the presence of mind to quickly look around the room as you unconsciously checked if anyone had seen you smirk. And I could see your eyes being disappointed with yourself, my lord, for allowing such a thing to show so obviously.
I am... Well,
caught red-handed. What?
Lucas, very insightful views there, certainly.
I debated with myself whether I was going to tell you anything of it.
No, I'm not entirely sure whether you picked up on that correctly, but
I did.
We will see. We will see. It's something. It
was your disappointment in yourself. That's what I saw.
Okay, well that's good. Anyway, regardless, it is good. Something is wrong, and we will fix it with.
You intend to fix it, my lord?
Well,
I imagine many great minds of the Empire thinking exactly the same thing.
They may think similar things.
Given that there's nobody else aboard. There is actually down below. There's one of them, but if we keep it quiet. The good lady von Strudendorf was no such thing.
No, absolutely not.
Well, I was in the coach the entire time.
Oh, of course. So you got an insider scoop, did you?
Well, of course I did. We had somewhat of a discussion. She was very close-lipped. Her guard, however, was much less so. Back when we were in the Seven Spokes, that was one of the inns you stayed at on the way down. The first inn you stayed at, then you stayed a brief stop in another, then you were into Altdorf. Mm-hmm. Back when we were in the Seven Spokes, I got talking with her. And as far as I could tell, she let slip that she was probably, and I'm almost trepidatious to say this because I don't want it to necessarily be true, but I think she might actually be from Allenhof. You can do a lore heraldry roll for that one, or lore empire if you have it at a better.
I don't have empire, just
yeah,
heraldry.
But you do have all the families. You do know them all well.
40, so 49.
Yeah. That's more than enough. So yes, one of the most influential southern Midlander lines. They are on the border of Talabecland and quite close to Hochland as well.
Okay.
They're further along than Schmiedorf, if you remember where that was, further along than Delbrenhof. So Delbrenhof, Schmiedorf, and then over towards Allenhof. And not only do you know them, you know that the patriarch of that particular family could arguably end up becoming the Elector Count of Middenland should the correct number of people die. A very influential family. And if she's from there, that would suggest that she's either one of his vassals or alternatively a relation. And going undercover to the capital?
Yes.
That's interesting in and of itself. So the reason that it slipped out was because she was drunk and she disapproved of the whole situation. Because she was alone in protecting what she considered to be a very valuable asset. So I think it might actually be her daughter. Or possibly his wife.
Who do we think this is? As in.
I would guess it's
Strudelhoff.
No, I think that's. Yes, it's her. I'm quite convinced that she's just playing a part.
Right.
In many respects, much as you are, my lord.
Okay.
And I'm quite convinced that she is probably his eldest daughter. And if that is so, I know her. I don't know her personally, but I know of her. What I know of her is what was a petition that she took to the Elector Count of Middenheim. So that is right up in the north, because they were looking for support from the cult of Ulrich, and they decided to take a more political route. And she won the day.
So if
She won the day. Now, I would like to express upon you what that means. Imagine a court full of men who are all 19 foot tall, because that's how they can often appear when you walk into that court. Trust me, I have been there. With beards down to their waists, each and every one of them with a slab of forehead sitting over very heavy, hairy brows, disapproving of everything, with the Elector Count himself sitting at the top with a big beard himself, looking down, Boris Todbringer, the Deathbringer household, to give you an idea of just how happy these people are. And she walked in as a young woman, she couldn't have been much older than 20, charmed her way through it, and then came out having succeeded. No idea how she did it, and it was the talk of the courts 3 years ago. She somehow managed to convince this wall of masculinity to provide her father with a host of, let's say, benefits from Middenheim, and under the guise of only travelling north to try and get some white wolves to attend their local temples.
And she's not even from Middenheim herself.
No, not at all, and nothing to do with them.
No.
It was clearly some sort of allegiance was created. No idea what it was, but the fact that she is being sent to Altdorf suggests that there is definitely something that they want.
What?
It could just be an investigation, for all we know, into the whole Ubersreich matter. Why did it occur? It could be as simple as that, but one feels that it's most likely something else.
Do you remember her name?
Amelia.
Amelia.
Yes, Amelia. She's the eldest daughter, but Middenland being Middenland, she will not inherit. He also has, I think, 3 sons.
If but Amelia Strudeldorf,
as far as one can tell, does not exist.
Oh, it's just
the Strudeldorf line exists, and it exists very close to here, inside the barony of Delbrenhof, just to the north. But I do not believe that she is her.
So Amelia's second house name is
Allenhof. In fact, it's Allen, of House Allen. But yes, she normally lives in, I believe there's a tall tower attached to a manse, the Kotzebue Tower, I believe is what it's called. Their actual original family name was the Kotzebues, I believe.
Right. Okay.
But they're universally known across Midland as the Allens. But their actual house name, I believe, is Kotzebue. I've never met them, but I've heard a lot about them.
You're certainly always a good resource, Lucas. Thank you.
Well, that's what I'm paid for. That's what your father has put me here to do.
I mean,
not that he knows.
Technically, yes, exactly. Right. Okay.
Shall I fix a cab?
Yes, I think so. If you would be so. Actually, it's not too far from here. Not too far a walk, and it might be good to see a little bit of
the university.
Yes. I mean,
I'll fetch a cab. He says, I don't think I'll be able to walk that far.
That's true. I've got. You're obviously.
I mean, we're not all as young or as healthy as you are.
No,
he says as he grabs his walking stick. Yes. He says, not to forget my side, which was gored, and the eye that I've lost on your behalf. He says as he makes his way out.
You put yourself in dangerous places. Okay.
And within very little time, he'll have a cab that draws up at the end of the jetty where your barge is tied up, and you'll have to clamber over all the barges to get out there. And he'll be waiting by the cab where there's a hunched over cabbie, looks out, tips his hat at you as you arrive.
Okay. My good man, if you could take us to Luigi and Salvador's, please.
Tip, 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 as he goes, University start?
Yes, correct.
University start it is, he says. Nice day for it. As he proceeds to give you terrible small talk. He
What's his thoughts on the current political situation?
He has thoughts. He has thoughts. He's quite convinced that the Emperor is absolutely right in all matters. You know, when the Emperor says we should be accepting of mutants, he says, who's the cult of Sigma to say no? I mean, he's the Emperor. He is Sigma, isn't he? Tap, 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 tap. as he goes along. Well, that's what I was saying to me, missus. He says, I'm telling you, as he leans back, she knows what's what, and she told me that I was almost certainly right. Tap, 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 tap.
Yes, I know, I'm sure, my good man.
He blethers on about a haircut that he got. You can't believe this man's ever had a haircut. He looks like a mess. But apparently, he had a haircut. He's even willing to take off his hat to show his... Was that the barber surgeon? I'm looking good. Tap, 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 tap.
Good stuff.
L&S.
Yes.
Luigi and Salvatore. It tends to not the upper crust, where certainly this is not somewhere a royal would ever visit, the Elector Count's family or an imperial family, but many of the richer families choose here because it is far cheaper than buying something from a let's say, placed tailor or dressmaker, and they often have a variety of clothes and equipment and everything else on hand and ready to go. So if you've got a soiree that you've unexpectedly been invited to that evening, and you don't intend to arrive in the same clothes that you were seen in yesterday or the day before, you can quickly arrive. They'll have something. It will be of sufficient quality that you can get on. They can do a quick nip and tuck because they have themselves fitting services as well, and you're straight back out again. The great joy, though, of Luigi and Salvatore is that it has far more than just clothes. It has an entire floor dedicated to an armory. It's got an entire floor dedicated to chests and luggage and all manner of exciting goodies for travelers and would-be adventurers.
Okay.
It's a dangerous place to visit should you be ready to go on a jaunt.
Yes.
It has this particular branch in the university stat at the very edge of it, 6 floors.
Oh, lovely.
And you are fully aware the bottom 2 floors are dedicated to clothes, many of which would be appropriate for your current, let's say, position.
Okay, right. So, Lucas, one thing that I wish for you to find for me, please. Number 1, find yourself an eye patch, one that you actually really like, and try it on, make sure it fits perfectly.
I'm sure I'll find something.
Potentially some new shoes as well, if just to help you with the cane.
He smiles. Marvellous. Cane?
No, don't push it.
The stick is pathetic. He says, if you wish me to present somewhat of a more...
No, I don't wish for a presentation. It's more for your own comfort. And a stick is a stick.
It was worth a try.
The other thing, so whilst you're doing that, if you could also try and find out or get us access to the,
What are you looking to buy?
Well, ideally, I need an item of clothing which has the crest of the Lieferangs on it.
That's very unlikely. That will need to be commissioned.
Specific, but
that will need to be commissioned.
I mean, it might do. There may be like 1
there
or 2% chance in a dice roll.
No, my lord.
Fine.
They're not going to have that, but we could potentially persuade them to do a commission. But we'd be looking for it to be done by this evening.
Yeah, it would take a long time, wouldn't it?
Well, it depends how big. If you're looking for a small embroidered badge, if they've got staff on hand, they might be able to do it.
Okay, if they can, something like that, hand-sized.
Hand-sized?
Yes, so palm-sized would be ideal.
So we're looking for around about 3 inches.
Yes, give or take.
Right, I'll see what I can do.
That's so. Yes, if you can do that from the,
He says, I presume you want to be buying something. Shall I just keep the money?
Yeah. Yes, you can keep the. I mean, I've got it all here.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. If you could also, so that's what I task you with. I'm going to go and find a couple of things.
Of course, my lord. So, what you have to find?
So, I would like to find some leathers.
Leathers. Oh, yeah. So we're looking for, effectively, a leather jacket, or we're looking for leather trews as well? Or would you rather keep something a bit more tighty tights down there for some hose?
Yeah, so the leather jacket, especially if you undo a few of the things and you'll show a bit of decollage, can be very stylish.
Very stylish, I say, sir.
We'll go with that.
The LNS staff member.
Oh, excellent.
Hello, sir.
Oh, excellent. This is great. This is fantastic.
And he looks you up and down. I presume you're looking for clothing.
Yes, very much so. As you can see, I've been through Well, don't
Was
ask.
it a war? Have you been in the centre of
far
the
off.
city?
Yes.
Yes. If you wish, we have ourselves a small bathhouse on the 3rd floor. How about you tell me what you need, and I'll get it prepared for you while you have a bath.
Okay. Fantastic. Wonderful. Number one, do you offer laundry services as well?
Of course we do.
Oh, good God.
Although that will take some time. We have a little bit of a backlog. You won't be able to get that until... He says, give me a moment, I'll find out for you.
Okay.
You take a look around and see what you're looking for. And then when I come back, you tell me exactly what you need and we'll get you suited out. He looks at you. Yes. Your size is fortunately something that we can cater for with ease.
Good stuff.
And he pops off. You remember this back in Ubersreich, laughing at Leopold because nothing fit him.
Yes. Yeah. Things were too short around
Everything
the ankles.
fit you. Nothing fit him.
So,
You were young. It was more funny to you than perhaps it deserved to be.
So I want some new hose.
Mm-hmm.
Tight on the calves.
He comes back in the day. He's like, yes.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah,
I was just mumbling to myself in the first place.
He'll start taking notes.
So a set of hose, tight on the calves, loose around the crotchal area. But I will need a new codpiece. Something leaning on the flamboyant, but not too much.
Yeah, you require a little bit of sartorial flair.
Exactly.
Of course, man.
A new doublet to go underneath this, or shirt. Do you know what? Shirt, and actually, if we can get something with the leather secondaries as a doublet to look more, adventurous, that would be ideal.
And one presumes you require boots.
These aren't actually too bad. They're good boots, these. They've seen me through a lot.
You need boots.
Do you think so?
I do.
What are they wearing now?
If you come this way. And he leads you through some of the darker corners of the store. There are... You do love L&S. It's so different to going to a cobbler. When you go to a cobbler, pretty much you're repairing your boots. You're buying yourself a set. They measure you up. They make it according to spec. But L&S just has this pile of stuff, this mismatch of different things that they have very carefully spruced up. Most of them, you presume, were probably second-hand at some point, but they don't look it. They are a fine array of different booties. And he said, if you're looking for what's being worn at the court at the moment, it's mid-calf.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, no, these are far too long then, if that's the case.
Yes, they are.
Fine. I'll have... you've got anything in, I don't know, sort of a more reddish blue? Do you know what? We'll mix and match. Sort of reddish blue. Let's go for a purple, shall we?
Of course.
Perfect. That'll be good. That'll look good.
And some form of coat? Cloak?
Yes. So 2, ideally. 1 for extreme weather.
Yes.
So large hood.
Yes.
One that can be pulled over to a point to shield
of
the
course.
face properly from wind, rain, etc. And hopefully lined on the inside with something that gives some, would I know the term insulation?
Warmth will do.
Warmth.
Yeah.
That works.
In fact, no, he's educated. Almost certainly, yes.
Insulation and warmth. And then another one, my green velvet, lost, unfortunately, alas, lost in someone tore it off my shoulder and threw it into a fire.
It is an unfortunate business in the centre of the city, my lord.
Exactly.
It is not a time to be wandering abroad, that much is certain.
No. It honestly, I barely made it into the taxi in the first place. But
And
here I am.
what name should I be placing this all under, my lord?
If you could put it under, in fact, if you could charge it to my house, that would be ideal. And I hold up the writ, saying that I am Herr Lieberung.
He smiles. I'm sorry to say I'm not aware of that particular household, so you will need to pay up front.
Oh, okay. No worries. That's annoying. I've not come across that before.
I'm terribly sorry.
Maybe I've chosen wrong. Could I? Well, how about we go for a charm? Would he be noble? Considered noble? Educated
Almost
nobles?
certainly not.
Oh.
He's someone feigning.
Scholar?
Again. No.
Fine. I'm just going to go for a straight charm test then, if that's the case.
Go for it.
Are you sure? I mean, we're quite well known. You may know I don't know. I was going to make someone up, but I probably do it wrong.
The Duke of Widowsvale, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a Baron, actually.
Baron, Duke,
or is it March?
whatever.
Is he Marquis? Can't recall.
Let's find out. Ah, success.
How many?
Just a success.
No, you will need to pay up front.
Fate point.
No, fortune. You can only re-roll on a fail.
Ah, balls.
But you do, of course, have the opportunity of a re-roll with, for example, a corruption point.
Yeah, I'm going to do it because nobody else is here to say I'll take a corruption point, please, Andy.
Re-roll.
Just for... I love this. I know that Andy Leask is going to watch this and just...
I can see him going, stop!
Oh, bugger. It's 1 percentile better.
Well done. And I'm frightfully sorry, my lord.
As the whispers come
in. And contrary to every other time when we have done this, and we have done this a few times in the past, nothing.
Oh.
Nothing at all. We're clean.
That's...
You're taking the corruption point.
Yeah,
but
no.
But there's no urges or oddness or strange events or anything else.
Good God.
Nothing.
Okay. All right. No worries. Well, how much would that set me back?
I'll go fetch it out. If you go up to the 3rd floor, it says you'll be received there and then taken up to the bathhouse.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, if you could find my manservant as well, he could probably do with a bath himself, or at least a little bit of, at least a wash.
I shall find him.
Yeah,
What's his name?
His name is Lucas.
Lucas.
He has a cane, and should be purchasing a new eye patch for himself as well.
Marvellous. I shall ensure that he is attended.
Thank you. Excellent.
It's a good bath.
Oh,
lounging out. It's a good bath. It's hot. It's steamy. And you can just relax, feet sticking out the end, the heat rising, and the entirety of the inside of this area is tiled out. You can splash to your heart's content without any worry.
Scum and dirt of 4 months on the road just floating to the top.
Oh,
this is it. Okay.
It is, because it's not a proper bathhouse, you are left to your own devices.
Great.
Meaning that you don't have anyone there to scrub you down or equivalent, but it could be much worse. And you do leave a scum line behind.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But it's good to be free.
Whilst I'm in the tub and pondering away, would that be considered as a relaxing time?
You let's say we'll decide that at the end of the sesh.
Okay, fine.
Depending upon how well it all goes. Yeah.
Point.
Let's see if we can get rid of some of our stress. Yeah, good call. And yes, it absolutely is. This is a perfect example of a good way of getting rid of some of your stress. If you don't know what that is, go check our document about stress that's kicking on our blog.
I'm going to, in my head, pen the first of a few letters that I have.
So you get down, have a good wee think. You an hour and a half later come out, and on the outside there's a whole rack of clothing laid out for you. A small boy is sitting down there, a hat at a jaunty angle, sees you, and he says, "Oh, I'll just call the floor master." He says, "I'll go get him for you." Okay. He says, "We're with you in a second. With you in a moment. With you soon."
Oh, he's gone.
Yep, and he's gone.
Yeah. Okay.
Lucas is sitting down out there.
Ah, there you are.
His hair is wet,
yes,
hanging down to either side in grey half curls, and his clothes are still pretty rubbish. He apparently hasn't purchased any or changed into them yet.
Okay.
But he's definitely cleaned. As he looks up at you, smiles. Oh, eye patch. He's got a new eye patch.
Oh, good.
One thing is certain, he's got a skull right in the middle of it.
Wow. Well, Lucas.
He's gone oddly badass.
Yes, it's very good.
Yeah, as he looks up and he goes, "I feel actually almost human again."
Good.
As he rubs at his eye patch. So, you were in there forever?
Well, I was pondering, a few things. I've got...
I thought you might have been. It's been
yes,
a relatively difficult few weeks.
Yes, and I have things that I wish to do to... I don't know if it'll alleviate the situation, but to, I don't know, hopefully bring something to the forefront. I don't know what those things are. I don't really know the intention, but
Should I be concerned, my lord?
I don't think so. No, Lucas.
Then I shan't be, my lord.
Good.
Yes, let us sort you out for some clothes.
That was quite nice. I said I don't think so. He said good. Excellent.
And you try on some clothes and eventually end up with approximately 2 gold crowns plus 4 silver shillings worth of clothes.
Right. So 2 gold, 4 shillings.
Yep.
Now, when the good father
Yes.
was taken to his...
Yes, he did. No, he sadly his money's currently with Lucas.
Yes.
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 So the cult won't be taking a particularly large donation against his will, for example, because there's nothing for him to donate.
And also Sigmar does talk about cleanliness and it being a good part of...
And banding together and working together as a group.
So
you're spending his money.
He will...
The second time out there. No!
Just 1 silver. Just the one.
Just the one. It's fine. Excellent. Wow. The hat.
Regalia.
The hat.
Oh, is it good?
The leather. Oh, it's good.
Oh, it's good.
The leather jack is embroidered down its entire length with small comets on the inside and raising heraldic rampant griffin to either side, with the wings wrapping round the back and crossing on the back side of it. Oh, it's nice. It's almost nice enough you want to take it off, look at it, put it back on again. Oh.
Well, I mean, the fact that it's even got all the twin-tailed comets, I mean, it just screams Sigmar anyway. So the father will enjoy the fact I've got this, won't he, Lucas?
Lucas keeps a slightly private smile to himself and he says, I'm sure he's going to be delighted.
I'm sure he is, yes, very much so.
As he looks inside the coin purse and goes, are you intending to buy much more today?
No, that should be about it for today in terms of...
That's probably for the best.
Yes. We do have some services to purchase, though. Through the other side of town. But I know a place where we can go and get some more coin. And actually, it's on the way, so that's very useful.
Right, so let's go. Where are you going?
I am going to the university. I'm going to try and find my good pal. I wrote it down earlier so I wouldn't forget. Here we go. Alfred, who is very rich and very not noble. No. So Lucas Alfred is. This might be interesting actually because he sort of. Ultimately, he's the son of.
It's about a 15-minute walk from where you are.
Okay, good. Yeah. So ultimately, he's the son of a merchant who's done very well, and I think he wishes to be noble.
Is he likely to kidnap you? He whispers. Are you going? I presume.
No. We're actually good friends, legitimate friends. He's part of the Caradre of the Gentile.
Of course, my lord.
I've told you.
No, you have.
Yes.
It just makes me smile every time you say it.
As it should. It's meant to be uplifting and you know it represents the better side of humanity and what we can do if we put our minds to it, and what culture and art can do to make a positive change within the world.
He smiles. You know, it's been a long time since I was here. And he looks around. And the high towers of the university, as you're making your way across one of the squares, the plazas.
Where did you stay?
There's students. He says, I was over in, as I recall, he says, it was the 3rd floor. I always forget because I pretty much never lived in my own apartment, my dormitory. That's where I met my wife.
Right.
So where was it? And he pops out, so long ago now. He says, I think it was, no, it's round there. He says, I was on the 3rd floor of the Imperial Morella buildings.
Good digs?
No, not particularly. No. My father didn't pay for the best digs, which is why I never stayed there.
Right.
It was, as I recall, when I was young, it was our job to find ourselves someone to live with. That was very much, there was a group of us. And as he looks up at all the arches and the towers, all the students making their way with their student-y hats on, shuffling from place to place. Others sitting down in this brisk air, making their way through books. Oh, and as is almost inevitable, a fight. As a small crowd is gathering around in there. Ooh, okay. Punch.
Would he, Lucas? Would it have been likely that he would have been an Inky?
It's very likely he might have been an Inky. Yes.
I see. actually worked for it, did he? Well,
yeah, very likely.
it works smart. No, it doesn't matter. Lucas, come up. The fight has broken out. This is always fun.
They're just children. Leave them alone. No, you don't need to watch.
Fine.
He says, "Come on."
They're definitely not just
children.
No,
seriously.
Okay,
my lord.
No, all right. Let's move on.
My lord. He says, as you make your way by, you hear, the Emperor's right! Thud, thud. No, he's not! Oof!
Oh, yeah, so that's academic discussion in full flow there, Lucas. Very good.
He says, yes, apparently so. We're best avoiding that sort of thing. Particularly because there'll be those who are going to be looking. You see two beetles making their way out. One of the beetles is particularly large. The other one is more rotund.
I assume that beetles are
university staff who are responsible for holding the halls, making sure the students go from A to B.
Yeah.
The beetles are also act as receptionists et al. Each one of the primary important floors that you worked on had their own beetles. And where the nobles were, they had a beetle per floor who effectively acted almost like a concierge. Fetching whatever the nobles required. After all, their families had paid for this stuff.
So like a batsman in the army.
Yeah, very similar to a Batman, but a bit more untrustworthy because they were in the employ of others, and they particularly for the younger children effectively acted like parents. So anyone under the age of about 18, they were mostly parents. Once they passed that spot, they became almost confidants sometimes.
Yeah. Okay.
But there was always that awareness that they were probably going to be telling someone else of what you were up to.
Right. Particularly
the newspapers.
Interesting. So it's kind of that's how you make your side money, sort of thing. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Yes.
So you know where your good man resides. He has the best halls, and by that I mean he's not actually in the university. His father bought one of the small cottages very close to the edge of the university building. It used to be held by one of the caretakers, the janitors that were responsible. They had their own special house which got sold off when the university was in one of its weaker points.
Okay. Oh, as we're going through an area where it's likely that I might be picked up on. Brand new cloak.
Yeah.
Hood up
and down.
What do you think, Lucas?
Lucas says, "Pardon, who was that?"
Exactly.
And he smiles. It's always drama. He says, "Until eventually you arrive at the house. Is Alfred in?" Good question. Shall I or shall you?
I think probably. I tell you what. If I'll hood up. You do the introductions. Make sure it's him, and make sure he's.
I think we only want to do introductions to him. I think.
Well, no. I'll stand here, but somewhat.
I would suggest. I would suggest that you don't reveal yourself unless it's him.
Exactly.
Yes, I agree.
And find out if he's alone.
Yes, of course. And tap 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 with his ugly stick, and he looks at you, and he looks at the stick
specifically,
and then pops it down. As maid. In her 50s, frumpy hat you don't recognize, comes to the door and says, "Yes." Says, "Yes, I'm here to see the good Herr Alfred." As he suddenly realizes he doesn't know his last name. We met drinking, actually. He told me to come round here. He says, "All right." She says, looks at him. "Right, well, you're in the right place, I presume. And who the blooming hells are you?" He says, "Well, as is often the case with drinking friends," he says, "perhaps best left for him." She pauses. "Right, well, you can come into the drawing room, I suppose."
Excellent. Well done, Lucas.
Lucas goes, "He should have asked for his last name." Comes in close.
Ed did not write that down when he wrote the
document. Ed doesn't know either. Hilarious. As you move into the withdrawing room, there's already a fire lit. and it's just as sumptuous as you remember. It's not the largest house. It's a lovely cottage, and you have been drunk here discussing the finer points of poetry multiple times. And the chairs are so comfy, and you know that over there, that's where the wine is.
Oh, yes. Lucas, Alabinawide used to perch on the back of that one, believe it or not.
That does not surprise me.
No. I mean, of course, back then I just thought she was sort of some travelling elf musician type person.
Isn't she?
I think so. Well, she said she was a princess the other day.
Oh, she's also said that she's a slave.
That is true.
And another time that she said that she was a merchant. I think she says whatever she needs to say to get her own way.
I've not actually questioned too much on those things. I just assume that it's elf rubbish, but actually, there's only so far that the cultural difference really stretches. That is actually just lying, isn't it?
Yes.
That's only just occurred to me.
Well, it's been of use to us so far.
Yes, okay. Might have a conversation about that when we find her. Anyway, so yeah, good times have been had in this room, I can tell you that.
Alfred. Round of face, bit podgy. Wearing a long house coat and a floppy hat with a tassel hanging down from it. Pair of spectacles hinged in the middle in a fashion that makes your good manservant somewhat jealous.
Seems reasonable.
Quite. He comes in with his fingers in like so and sees you and immediately shuts the door behind you.
Yep.
You didn't even need to pull your hood off. That's a bit disappointing.
Okay.
He recognised your form.
Well,
that's pretty disappointing.
I wanted more drama at that moment.
As he pulls the door shut behind him, he goes, "What the bloody hell are you doing, huh?"
Well, Alfred.
Jerry, no, you're. They were bloody banging at my doors, you know. They were looking for you.
Yes,
admittedly, a few weeks ago, but they've come back like 4 or 5 times. You know, they're probably outside.
Ah, well, that's good to know.
No, not if you're here. Oh, this could be most. I am currently, he says, discombobulated. I'm going to sit down and have myself some wine. He says, "Would you like some?"
I will actually. Thank you very much.
He says, "We've kept your." Pulls out a small crystal glass.
Oh, it's my own one, is it?
Yeah, and there's your heraldry sitting on it. The young Freud stag rampant.
That's lovely. That's excellent.
Little vines around the edge. As he says, "Well, of course we kept it. We knew you'd come back at some point." Hello. He says, "My name's Alfred." As Lucas Muller. He says, and you can see he's fishing. The look in his face, he's looking for a last name.
Right.
Lucas goes, "Lucas Muller," and he says, "Marvelous to meet you. I trust this is your man."
Yes.
Nice to meet you, Lucas.
Very,
and then sits down. Lucas deflates slightly.
Yes.
As he sits down. "So what are you bloody well doing here?"
Well, number one, I'm just going to have a quick sniff of the wine. Does it smell the way wine should smell?
A cute scent smell?
No.
No, so we're just going to be based off your...
I have a good palate.
Do you have lower poisons? I mean, coincidentally, no.
More wine? No, I don't.
No, it smells great.
Okay.
I mean, it smells really good.
Excellent.
It's been altogether too long since you've had yourself a good quality vintage.
Okay.
And if there's one thing you can be certain of, Alfred serves well.
Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, lovely. Excellent as always, Alfie. I'll have a little sip.
He has a small sip as well. So you're not supposed to be here.
No. So, obviously things have gone a little sideways or more. Oh, okay. I forgot about this. Let's just continue this, isn't it? A little bit more. So things haven't gone as well as I originally anticipated.
That's very good. No, sorry, what was that?
Oh, so yes, things have gone a little bit awry, and you know,
that artist that you had organised to come round, he was very disappointed. You just weren't there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was going to be doing that profile that you wanted, if you remember.
Did I actually do this, or is this news to me?
This is news to you. Absolute news to you. Never heard this before.
I don't like that at all. Artist?
Artist. He came round and he told me all about how you've been looking for a portrait.
Profile, yes.
Yeah, quite. And, well, I know for a fact that he is almost certainly probably still looking for you. He says perhaps even across the courtyard.
Right. Okay.
He says
viewable from here.
Well, I'm not saying that he's definitely, but if one were to, for example, take a rest in the nook, he says, you might be able to see him. He says, by the statue of Arthur the Great.
Okay. Oh, right. Oh, yes, that artist. I see. And
He's
I'll
bally good fun.
go over to the nook.
He says, bally good fun.
And the nook.
The nook is halfway up the stairs.
Oh.
You have multiple times sat here, not looking at various students passing by and judging them for one reason or another.
No, and also to be seen.
Well, quite.
Yes.
And
exactly.
interesting. There is a fellow over there. He doesn't look like an artist.
No.
If you were to position him anywhere, you'd probably say mercenary.
Right. Good stuff. Things are going well. Okay. Alfie. Excellent.
He's sitting on the stairs, perching, looking up, looking quite pleased with himself.
Yes. Yes. Very
Do
good.
you see him?
I do see him.
I was told by Elise that he was out there just 2 weeks ago and he's barely moved.
Right. Okay.
As you watch, and he goes.
Fuck. I mean, he appears to have gone. What a shame.
Oh, well, that's good. We didn't like him.
No, I'm sure.
As
Alfie.
Lucas from behind says, is there a back door, my lord?
Yes, that was my question. Is there
You
another way out
know
of
there
here?
is a way out through the
Okay.
back. It goes out into the university grounds, the gardens, and you can just pass through those and go anywhere you wish, really.
Right, excellent. Yes, no, we've used it a few times. In fact, actually, I remember we used it to come in after a particularly raw. Doesn't matter. Alfie, listen. Spot of bother. Can I borrow some coinage?
You need money.
Just a little bit.
I'm sure I've got something for you.
Just
He
straight.
says,
Yes.
how much trouble are you in?
Well, I mean.
Is it actually trouble?
Yes, it's 100% actually trouble. But
How exciting!
I know it's quite good.
Oh, I say. Is it like one of those adventures in the Fenny Dreadfuls?
I mean, it's. Yes, actually, very much like that.
Well, he says, of course, I shall pack some essentials. And he goes scurrying off. Elise, we need to pack some essentials.
What? No, Alfie, no.
He's gone.
Run after it. Alfie, no.
Wait, what?
No, just, you should stay here.
No, I'm not coming. Oh, no,
Right.
don't be ridiculous. I'm packing you some essentials.
Okay, fine, excellent,
As
carry on.
the help arrives with her bonnet and she looks at you and she frowns. She does love frowning at you. He says, go sit down, enjoy the wine. We'll get the essentials sorted.
Right, excellent. Just, Alfie.
Lucas. We probably want to go relatively swiftly, he says from behind. Yes.
How long have you employed Elise here?
Elise has been working with me now for 2 months.
Right. Just about the time that I sort of...
Well, interestingly, coincidentally, you see, you remember Berta?
Yes.
Berta fell sick, frightfully sick.
Oh, no.
It's so fortunate that she had a relative who was able to step in. Actually, she has been a rock. I'd go further. She has been an imperial rock.
Right.
Yes.
Very good.
Oh, very good.
That
Yes.
makes sense. No, I get that. Very good. Okay. Well, look. I don't want to trouble her too much. Just bit of coin, whatever you've got in your purse at the moment.
I don't carry a
Of
purse.
course you don't. God, it's annoying talking to nobles.
He's not even noble. He's just rich.
Yeah,
Pretensions of being noble.
Yes.
Here to try and find some disenfranchised young noblewoman to try and marry into.
Even worse, it's the pretending to.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
hyper.
I shall go and resolve this. He says, "You just sit down. I'll be with you in a moment." As Lucas comes up and says, "We probably want to move."
Yes. Okay. It's all right, Alfie. I'll come with you. We're just expedient.
He says, "I think we should probably just move. Why don't we steal some goblets?"
What? You just want to steal it?
We're looking for coin. Let's just steal some
No,
goblets.
Lucas.
Well, the alternative is that we stay here and we get caught. We get caught by whatever it is that they run off. And this I do not like the look of this servant at all.
No, I agree. Well, look, I'm
Let's
taking
just-
my goblet anyway because it's my goblet, so I'll take that anyway.
Exactly, my lord. It's already yours.
Yes.
And would it not be just us? He says, leaving. We have yet to finish our drinks. Let's call it a long-term borrowing with some sales in between.
That's actually a good shout.
It's not strictly theft. He's
No.
a friend.
Well, yours is the guest, one of the guest goblets anyway, so that's fine. Everybody else has their own specific ones. I would feel bad if I took other people's.
Actually,
Right.
he says, given they're through there, he opens up.
No.
He's got some cutlery. Look, he says, this
Lucas.
is silver. He says,
yes,
we
it
can
is.
set. If you're looking for coin, my lord, we're desperate. We go. He says,
Oh, it's not right.
chink, chink. My lord, let's go.
Okay.
Take
Fine.
me take us out.
Okay. So it's this way. Turn left, forwards, and then stop grabbing things.
He says, they're falling. It's not my fault.
Lucas, you're better than this. Stop it.
He says, I'm not.
No,
He says-
no, actually, stop it.
We stopped. Stop
Right.
being so loud.
Okay, fine. That's enough.
Lead the way.
Let's go. Okay, fine. Let's go. Lucas.
Clank, 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 clank.
I'll nut it.
Look, this might be the last time that we're in a position where we can get something like that, and he's not going to miss any of
Bam!
this.
Through the. Okay.
You're in. Oh, you know these back gardens very well. You have spent many a time here. You have memories of young men and young women, awash with alcohol and the finer sides of life.
Yeah, very much so. Okay. Right, Lucas. Then, if that's the case, next up.
Clank, clank, clank.
Okay. Right. We need to transfer some of that around because you're too noisy now.
Perhaps we could go back to Elnaz.
We'll do it on the where?
Elnaz.
Oh, yes.
He smiles. It would make a.
No, Luke. Oh, yes, Lucas.
You see what I'm saying?
I am. Yes.
If you wish it to be a little more.
Clandestine.
I mean, there are two other branches here, but
They're
no,
too
one's in
far
the
away.
one's in the center. That's no good.
No,
Do you know
absolutely
where the
not.
other one is? I remember being told.
It's south of the city. You
Oh,
have
it's
to
in the
go
south.
through
Oh,
the
we'd have to go-
centre and back down again. We can't
No.
go that through.
Then we could go back to Elnaz.
Yes, we'll go back to LNS.
Well, shall we take a circuitous route?
Yes.
Make
the
our
best way.
around.
Best way if we go through the gardens. There's actually.
Bang!
Oh,
Crash!
shit.
You hear and ah! From
Right.
the inside.
Lucas, let's run.
Fortunately, you have not just a head start. They don't expect you to just run. The servant of the house expects you to be somewhere at your repose. It provides more than enough delay for you to just disappear into the gardens or
Okay.
into the trees.
How do I feel? Do I feel okay?
Yeah, you feel fine. You
Okay.
definitely weren't, at least as far as you can tell, poisoned or drugged.
All right. Good stuff. Good. To
Still
know.
holding it.
No, that's been
Are you sure?
cast and so like,
Can you cast
a
it?
lament?
Can you?
I will sing a song for you. And
No! Smash!
Yeah.
Oh my lord! That was worth money.
No, not the
Oh,
goblet.
just the drink.
Just the drink.
okay.
Yeah, that's my
I misunderstood
goblet.
you there.
That's the, these have sentimental
yeah.
value to them as well.
L&S.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
I'll deal with this.
Yes, you should.
Clank, clank, clank. You go to your upper class fence.
Oh.
you have fallen in the world, Gerhardt.
Not a good position to be in.
But
House so low,
how well did he do?
hopefully well enough that I can put some money back into the
The dollar coins that I give you are guilders, not gold crowns.
Guilders are
Guilders are worth better. That's
Yeah,
that's Wastelander money. They're worth approximately 21 shillings rather than 20, but you have to actually get that. Often it's just accepted as a gold coin like any other,
Yeah. Okay.
and that is what he has sold it for.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right.
You're rich
Okay. Right.
beyond your wildest dreams.
Lucas.
I told you we should be stealing things.
I mean, this is incredible.
This is where you say that I was right.
No, because I don't agree in.
I know you don't, but
No.
that doesn't mean I wasn't correct.
Okay. Look, maybe the right outcome, but the wrong reason getting there is a little bit off. But this is
Understood,
good.
my lord.
This is good. Well done.
It's a good
Well
outcome.
done. Okay.
Thank you.
So next up.
Are we going back, or do you have anything else that you require other than clothes?
Yes, I need to find Quincy.
Quincy.
Yes.
He's probably going to be followed as well, whoever he is.
Yes.
Is he a known associate of yours?
Yes. Some would say he's my best friend. Well,
any reason? Well,
not my best friend, but...
Are you sure that this is at all wise, given what we've just escaped? Do you need to see him?
I actually think it might be slightly more dangerous, if I'm completely honest. Well, no, I just want to make sure. So, this is the thing. When everything kicked off, and Alan and wife dragged me out of the pub, even though I didn't know it was her at that moment in time, I just thought, elf, and off I go. I had actually given my patent of nobility to Quincy to get a round of drinks in.
Right.
And, I did this all the time, because father's got more money, and why wouldn't you?
Well, quite.
Well, I fear that during my escape and looking for the right person, they may have got the wrong man with the right title, if you understand what I'm saying.
Oh, you think that they took your friend Quincy?
Yes.
Perhaps you should have asked Alfred.
Didn't have the time, though, did we?
No, we didn't. That's unfortunate. Right, so let's approach this with a certain level head.
Yes.
If he has been captured, he may be resentful, which means that he may want to turn you in. If he hasn't been captured, then he'd have your patent nobility, one presumes, but the chances of one of his friends still holding that, or one of your friends, I mean, it's almost none. They will have secured it, which means that what reason do we have to approach him?
Well,
other than possibly your need to apologize to him for something that may have been awful that he will not be willing to receive as an apology.
Yes, but that still doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it, Lucas.
Well, I don't disagree, but perhaps do it by letter.
I mean, a letter is not the same as a person.
And might I further say, in fact, that if anything, though, if you're trying to claim that you're dead, you can't be getting spotted all over the place.
No, I know I can't be getting spotted all over the place, but there's lots of me. We've seen.
Yes, but now, but now there is confirmation that probably after your supposed death on the road, you've been seen at one of your friends' houses.
That's true.
That's going to.
Oh, you don't think they're going to do anything to Alfie, do you?
Well, it depends how rich he is, and it depends how desperate they are. It depends how desperate they are, and whether he's. I mean, he didn't sound happy when we left.
Oh dear.
And you may leave Quincy in a far worse position than you arrived with. Unless you have a very strong reason, I would suggest that Quincy is just not your first port of call.
Okay. Well,
we've done well.
I would like to feel better about the situation.
I understand, my lord, but perhaps the best way to feel better about the situation is to fix it.
And come
not endanger yourself and put yourself in a position where you can't fix it.
Life was so much easier before all this. You just said.
Yes, well, it's not anymore, my lord.
No, I know, and that's what I was saying this morning.
And this is why I wanted to come with you, my lord.
Okay.
I'm fully aware that there are
good advisor. I understand. Fine. Yes. Once again, you may be right. You may be right. I just wonder if. I wonder if there's a third party that I could engage with, just get a message to him.
Well, almost anyone we
could find out about him.
But the problem with the written message is it's confirmation of your existence.
What about gossip? Just general gossip of students.
Well, as in what's happened to Quincy? I suppose we could have what's his name, Quincy?
I'd also his second name.
That was a bit of a dick move from me there.
Yeah. His second name, Andy, I'll do a dick move too. Is Quincy. Quincy.
I do not think that it is. No, Quincy is of a minor noble line of Reichland. Sure. So let's have him from the Rickett Browns. They're one of the Altdorf families.
Great.
Rickett Browns. You absolutely can. That's what gossip is for. Shall we go and hit one of the pubs, spend yourself a couple of shillings, and do ourselves a gossip test? It's not like you don't have a few coins just now.
No, I actually need to break some of these into shillings.
Yeah, indeed. Well, someone has done well on this side. Let's see how well you've done.
Oh, okay, excellent. Do I get etiquette scholars as part of this?
Absolutely, yes.
Perfect. Easy test?
It's not under stress. No, you've got time.
Perfect. So 6 successes then.
Ah, sweet. Quincy
Mm.
has not been seen.
Oh no. Oh, he's still in prison, isn't he?
3 months ago, he vanished.
Oh, God.
Dragged, one presumes willingly, sure, from one of the taverns that you frequented. You need more silver there.
I do, but it's okay. We can figure it out later on.
Okay,
It's
sounds
just
good.
enough that I've got it just for
Okay, good.
games change. So 2 silver spent for that. Bugger. Okay. Lucas. Right, we should go.
Lucas says, I know where he is.
Wow, you did do very well, didn't you?
He's Munsden Keep. It's a debtor's prison.
Oh God.
Normally for the lower orders. The reason I know is because I found someone who claims to be his lover. And she has been heckling them to try and get out, trying to earn coin, in fact. And you might not be pleased to know that she's been earning coin on the street, my lord. She, it's not even a great debt that they're sitting.
How much is it?
7 silver shillings only.
Is that it?
That is it. She has come back with that already. There was 6 to begin with, which she came with, and they said it was 7, so she had to go away. She lost some of the money. She had to try to get more of the money. She came back. She's got the money again. She intends to go again this evening, but one feels that nobody's getting him out.
Okay.
They didn't expect her to come back with coin because she looked so lowly, I presume.
I need to this is why you need friends around, because then they can help you do these things. I don't think there's anything we can do.
No. I don't think that one wants to approach this personally. Possibly it would be better to hire someone to, but whatever money you throw towards it probably will walk. It will be a loss of coin to guilt, my lord. Unless you've got an agent that you can trust, and as it stands, we have no agents we can trust.
There's nobody that I would.
And it's almost certainly been watched. If I came along and I did it, I would probably be arrested.
Even all my friends who are here can't be. Damn.
Imagine if you could be so easily bought out. It would already have occurred with good old Alfred.
Yeah, that's true.
Assuming he even knows.
Do you think... What about Percy? He would have some sort of... No. He's Bretonian, you see. Percival. But he's such a...
My suggestion is, my lord...
Make any impact.
Come back when we're in a better position.
Yes, okay. All right. I was enjoying being back at the university.
As was I, actually, for a few moments. And I'll admit I should have seen what was coming, but I didn't, because I was lost in the reminiscence of my youth. I should have realised, obviously, that well, of course.
Because you can't think of everything; it would be impossible. And
yes, but it is my job to at least think of the most obvious things, and it feels frightfully obvious in retrospect.
Well, maybe we're both holding out for better situations, especially with everything that's been going on. Okay, well, we can't be held down by the bad things around us, can we? So let's look for the positives. So, we
smiles.
are off to, next up, we're off to Gelner Hill.
We are?
Yes.
Gelner Hill? But
correct.
We're not going back to the Ostlanders, are we?
No.
Did you see what he did?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
No, so we're not going there. We are going, actually,
do you think they're related? I didn't want to bring it up.
Hang on.
Did you see what he did?
Who did?
Perhaps we should go somewhere we definitely can't be overheard.
Okay. What about in a taxi? A taxi seems to be relatively...
Well, at the back.
Yes. Fine. Well, let's get a taxi over and you can tell me about it on the way.
And in the back of the cab, he explains how he was speaking to Alamenowithe. And she noted that the good noble that you were speaking to, who had been acting very oddly anyway, firing his staff, getting rid of everyone so that there was nobody left other than himself, and his, as she was rather uncharitably describing the chubby little son who was being sent around all over the place. Yes, with his, yes, indeed. But what she saw was at the very end, he did this.
Yes. Yeah, that thing.
That's not a coincidence. I think he knew you, or at least the other you.
I mean, people might just be scratching their ear in strange ways.
Like that?
Well, no, that is true. Look, okay, admittedly, there appears to be some sort of conspiratorial element within the city. Until we don't know what it is. So,
Well, at least we have a warning sign.
well, exactly. So, if somebody comes up,
That's
and
why I
does
was
that-
concerned that you might be going back there. I thought you might have seen it and thought, I
Oh.
can take advantage of this.
No. I'm trying to stay clear of whatever that thing is.
Thank goodness.
But
By the gods, working for you it's certainly good for the heart.
good, excellent. Well, I mean, it would be rubbish if it was boring, wouldn't it? Let's be
Yes, it
fair.
would.
So let's think about that as well. I wonder if there's some sort of book or something which might have common greetings in sort of cults or subcults or something on those lines.
Well, you would probably need to speak to an expert of these things, which is sadly not myself.
I mean, we're in the area.
Well, we
We're
were.
experts.
You're
Yes,
making your way
that's
off.
true. Fuck.
Well,
we're in the area.
I'm not sure we want to be in this area at the moment, though. Not if there's people looking for us.
No.
So where are we going?
What I'd give to go to a good library. Oh, we are going to Goelner Straßes.
Guelnerstrasse.
Correct. Yes.
He says, for what reason?
Well, it's a printer, or it is printers.
He just laughs. I don't know if I should ask. What do you intend to print, my lord?
Well, so here's the thing. Everything's going a little bit wrong, but I feel like it's going wrong in such a way that it's creeping. You know, it's just slow, unnoticeable
Insidious.
changes. Insidious, exactly.
Mm.
To a point where you wake up one day and everything's different, and you didn't know how you got there. Stripping away either laws or safety nets or ability to make sure that people can do what they say they can do,
Yes.
and beholden onto what they say they're going to do. And it's just happening around us. And yes, there have been big ones, but that means that the big changes have come around because of the little ones. Anyway, what I intend to do, Lucas, is write three
He smiles.
pamphlets or letters or addresses to whoever should read, highlighting three things, all of them designed to pull people's thoughts and opinions in a certain area to the extreme. It's ramping everything up to 11. You know, you've heard that popular phrase, I'm sure. Yeah. And we would look around and you'd see the splits. You can see what's making people tick properly. You know what I mean? By turning everybody's input and thought process and minds up to whatever extreme of whatever they're doing, you can properly see what's going on.
How?
So, for instance, here's the mutant thing, the mutant edict, right? Okay. So right now, it is not illegal to be a mutant.
No, right now I think it probably
Well,
it might not be in
still
Altdorf.
illegal.
I'm not quite sure how it works here.
Exactly.
But
Anyway.
yeah, let's run with that line of argument.
Okay, so that is, and this is my point. It's not law. It's just an edict. It's a slow change. So obviously everybody's still outraged by this,
Yes,
but
quite.
eventually they'll all calm down because you can only be angry for so long at so many things. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
So, and you only have this certain amount of energy to be able to be angry before you just. And this is what I'm telling Leopold. You know, see the good things. And that's why he's so stressed sometimes, is because I think he just sees the bad things and he always sees the people around him expiring. So if he can see the good things, then better. So what I want to do is I want to ramp everybody's thought process up to 11, as I've said, by showing something more extreme.
More extreme than what we already have.
Yes. So, do you know a scholar from a few hundred years ago, Max Schreiber?
Schreiber.
Do you know of him?
I don't think I do.
So Max was a jade wizard, I believe.
It was a few hundred years ago. It seems unlikely.
Okay.
100. Are you sure you've got the right amount of time?
I don't. Absolutely not. No, Andy.
Decades.
Decades.
Yeah.
Okay, not that long.
Not that long ago.
Fine. Okay. Still, whatever. But he was a jade wizard.
He was a wizard.
He was
You're
a
not
wizard.
You're not entirely convinced of which order.
Okay, fine. Wizard. And he had some controversial ideas. He released a pamphlet, actually.
Decade and a half ago, actually. It's not that long ago.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's,
Perfect. So it's still floating
yeah.
around. Very good. Well, that's probably why I managed to read it a little bit. And I read some of his work, and it basically highlighted something which says that we are all somewhat mutated, or it's just a natural progression, or something along those lines.
What's the purpose?
Right. Okay. So with what's being said here, in terms of things, mutants being in an edict, no longer illegal, why not just go full out and say everyone is a mutant? Why not just really wham all the way up?
To what end?
So it doubles down on people's thoughts and opinions and their conviction, right? And
Right.
In someone's conviction lies their position and thought process to push things forwards. I actually also don't necessarily know the full extent of the end play. It's more that I just want to see what will happen.
But we're not going to be here to see the results.
No, but everything that happens in Altdorf is just a mini version of the Empire. So
you're going to write some form of pamphlet which suggests that we're all mutants.
I'm going to write one of them. The other thing I'm going to write, so that's one.
Oh, right.
Is another one. Penned under the name Magnus,
Oh my
and you'll
goodness.
see why I've chosen this name. Now this is the time, this will highlight the thesis that ultimately this is the time where we band together and we stand together firm and solid and rule out any influence of chaos, of mutation and the ruinous powers.
Right, so you're going to contradict yourself.
Exactly, but under a different name. Okay, so Magnus will write these pieces around the strength of the Empire is through togetherness. Schreiber will write about the acceptance of mutation, and
That is, I was about to say that is heretical, but perhaps it's not anymore.
no, exactly. And then finally, one other thing is we will have a third character under the name of Wayland. I'm not sure why I've chosen that name, but just wrote it down. Which will somewhat aim towards the Emperor, but also higher nobles in general.
And what will be its central thrust?
That ultimately they're not doing their job well enough.
Oh, the nobles.
Yes.
So again, I'll admit I don't quite see the purpose here, given that it's unlikely you're going to be in a position to take advantage of whatever occurs. And do you have anybody in mind to posit these particular beliefs around, or are you just hoping that they take root and start spinning of their own accord?
So I intend to position these throughout areas of the university to begin with, because that's where free thought theoretically flows from. But that's also why I'm getting it printed the other side of town, because otherwise somebody would go, these seem slightly heretical. They would go to the printers that are around
Do
the
you
university.
know a printer on the other side of town?
Yes, that's where we're going.
Oh, right, of course.
Yeah, Golner Strasse.
Is there a printer there?
Yes.
Oh, right.
Yes, there is. Yes, it's where we received this from. This piece was printed as his shop.
Ah, right. So that makes sense, given that would be on Gwelner Hill, where they are.
Exactly.
That makes sense. Right.
So we're going to print these letters, pamphlets.
They are potentially somewhat heretical, at least in one place. It's possible that the printer will not be so pleased with such a...
Agreed, but also I find if you pay somebody enough, they tend to do what you want them to do, or look the other way.
And we are going to be... I suppose we are going to be in a place that's...
Exactly. So we're doing that, and we're releasing that out into the world, basically just to see what's kind of going to happen.
He shakes his head.
But
So you're doing it for no reason other than to apologize for the nature of the line, but to sow discord and chaos.
No.
Are you sure? Because it sounds like you're attempting to fight fire with fire.
Well, yes. Well, sometimes, and Elric will tell you this, fighting fire with fire is...
I mean, is that your intent, to fight fire with fire, to disrupt the ongoing political machinations of whoever it is that has a particular agenda and just throw something completely different into the mix to cause difficulty?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't like the statement fight fire with fire. I prefer lighting a fire to illuminate what is hiding within the shadows.
I mean, ultimately, it's going to come out with a similar result, I presume.
Exactly.
This sounds exceedingly foolish, but I'm not against it. It just sounds like it sounds like it's a plan that will fritter into nothingness unless you've got something to maintain it. What's going to stoke the fire when you're not here, for example?
Well,
no matter how many leaflets you have, they're probably just going to end up in a gutter somewhere, given there's entire riots going on just now.
Good question. How, knowing Gerhardt's knowledge of the city, is there something that will encourage us to be within circulation?
Well, you're going to need to have repeated prints, and on top of that, you're going to need to have people to disseminate it when you're not here and keep it up. And in a perfect world, you'd have a few folks spreading the message on your behalf as well. You would have agitators on the street agitating. That would be the perfect result. Now, Gerhardt and his individual background is not quite there. He's in a very different circle, somewhat toffee-nosed, one might argue, in the University of Altdorf. He has engaged with many a debate of this ilk in many of the streets up and down the Street of 100 Taverns, for example, and many of the taverns, pardon me. Intellectually, he's aware of what needs to be done. And he's also, I think, much like yourself, reaching the conclusion that it's a toughie.
Here we go. The Postal Service is good.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Postal Service across the Empire.
Yes, it is. The Imperial Postal Service is a thing. You're also aware that the Imperial Postal Service is pretty strongly monitored.
That doesn't matter.
Good. Just making sure.
Even if it's monitored, somebody is reading these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like and usually, if it's monitored, it's by people on the inside who will tell family members and things like that, and they're usually the ones that will probably go to ye olde Facebook and write out their conspiracy theory. You know what I mean?
My lord. So you're thinking of what? Sending it to whom?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter whom.
It has to arrive somewhere, one presumes.
Well, yes. So let's say I write it to the refectory in the university. They get 500 leaflets. What are all these leaflets? They open up the box. They're leaflets. Send it out somewhere. You can do all this, you can orchestrate this from afar, theoretically. There's no reason why you can't put an order in at a printer's.
Or we could go to the centre of the city and find someone who believes what you want them to believe.
Or that.
I mean, if they're rioting, there must be people there.
It feels like it's too dangerous to do that.
It feels stupid, but that doesn't mean that it's not a potential a route. You need to have somebody that you can convince that this, is something they wish to continue on with. But it's potentially starting a movement that you don't want to begin. And 3 movements at that. My lord, it's, shall we say, calculating, which I understand what you're saying, but it requires extra steps, I think, to be executed fully.
Okay, well, look, let's see this as stage 1. All right, we'll start it, see what happens. If anything, fine. If nothing, okay, and we can continue that, and we can see if it's something can be played from afar.
Let's see what this printer says first. Let's see if we can even get our first step in.
Exactly. And if not, we'll look for other printers.
Across the city we go, and indeed the fires are still burning in the centre, or at least the smoke is. And at one point, you can hear the echoes of shouts across the river as you're making your way across the bridge. Altdorf isn't exactly on fire, but it's definitely not restful. Eventually, you reach the south side of the city, wend your way through the streets, down past the big south barracks. In the south of the city, where you can see a lot of Ostlanders are currently in situ. Somewhat unexpectedly, given that this is Altdorf, this is Reichland, but there's a lot of Ostlanders. Ostland being quite distant from here, obviously, and Ostland also being where the good von Ostlands and Gerhardt von Tassenink and that particular family come from as well, just to reground that back into your head. Many of them are there, and you can see that there's heraldic flags up. 3 of the Reichland state armies are currently in situ there, and one Ostland one. And you don't even need to roll for that one. It's a famous one. It's the Seaver family line from Seaverhof. The very north of Ostland, we're talking on the coast on the north of the Empire. And go any further north and you're in the Sea of Chaos, and it's not the best place to be. And the Margrave from there, Sievers, is relatively famous in Altdorf. He's Fennig Dreadfuls are coming out almost weekly about the great deeds of that particular regiment. Down in the Border Princes, where they face off against, in heavy quotations, the Orc. That appears to be the way that they've decided to, really add a bit of extra drama to these greenskins that they are facing off against. And if you believe the stories, it's fair to say there's about 15 prominent characters that come again and again and again. It's just short stories, and the Empire is brilliant, and the Borderlands will never fall to the Orcs because we've got our folks down there doing things. And Sievers is seen to be the great champion of all that. And apparently he's here, as you see as you pass by. Interesting. You make your way up Guelner Hill, along the curved streets, past a couple of rather nice hostels. A number of estates. This area is well patrolled. Altdorf soldiers are out. Apparently they're not over in the centre. As you eventually arrive at a relatively small print shop.
I found the name of it. Printed by B. I think this is Mithrim.
I have no idea. I'd have to check it myself. I can't recall off the top of my head.
B Mithrim.
B Mithrim. That sounds 100% what it'll be. I did this an age ago.
Yeah.
Back when I was printed by. It does look like B. No. There's definitely a printer.
Okay.
I'll have to go to the original file to double check what that is. So, nevertheless, there's the printers. B Mithrin across the top. That's really annoying me. I'll check it up after. As you make your way in, there's a small woman with a pair of spectacles and huge shoulders, sitting behind a counter. She looks up. See you come in.
Yes. Hello. How are you? Hello. Lucas, if you would do the honours.
Lucas comes over and says, hello, we're looking to have some pamphlets printed. They are of a somewhat delicate nature.
No, I meant introduce me.
It says, this is my lord, Castle Lieber.
Excellent. Thank you. I'll take it from here. Hello. We're looking to get some leaflets printed, potentially of a questionable nature.
She smiles. I see, she says. When are you looking for them to be done by?
As soon as possible.
It's always as soon as possible in this febrile atmosphere in which we find ourselves.
Yes, exactly. So
Lieberung, I think, as he goes, Lord Lieberung. My apologies, Lord Lieberung says we are somewhat, let's say, backed up.
Okay. With what?
Jobs.
Are they important?
Well, she says, they're important to a degree.
Yes, exactly. So there is a price based upon their importance.
What exactly is it you need printed?
Right, okay. So
are we talking multiple blocks, or is it just a single pamphlet? What's your aim?
I need 500 of each pamphlet.
So 1 page?
What?
1 page. Just a single sheet?
Oh, I don't know. Let me write it quickly.
I would suggest...
Not yet. 1 second.
Why don't you go through to the next room?
Yes.
He says there's pen, parchment, whatever you require through there.
Okay.
Sit down. Get your head straight. He says. So we can actually find out what your commission might be.
It's been in my head for quite a while, so
it often is, my lord. It often is, my lord. That is just the way of these things.
Yes. All right. So let's do this, shall we?
Are you going in?
Yes, very much.
Make your way in, and you can see that there's 3 people in there already. One of them is scribbling like mad with a quill, looking up at the other as you enter, and he says, "Well, we could say that they're all mutants." As that's what you hear as you come in. As beside the man got his arms folded and looks over and goes, "No," he says, "it's too obvious." And they both turn round to look at you. The third of them, though, is who takes your attention. A big, heavy, intake of breath is hard to suppress. An enormous man, bald-headed, thick slabs across his shoulders, scars all down this side of his face, and in this part, cuts, several of them. Startlingly blue eyes. You'd forgotten how blue they were. As Absalom Trot. Accurately, Baron Absalom Trot. And looks up and goes, "Well, if it ain't Gary!" And he smiles. "Good to see you, bruv." And sticks out his hand. It's a big plate of meat.
Okay.
Dump, dump, dump. He says, "Didn't expect to see you in a place like this." He says, "We heard, well, you know what we heard." He says, "You here for me?"
No, in fact, I had no idea that you would be here.
Smiles. "Well, you know, there's business in town." Rubs at the new fresh cut. And we're working on behalf of your dad, aren't we? Sorry.
Yes.
No, you prefer Pa, don't you? Papa. Was that what you said?
Father is fine.
Father. There, that's it. Come in. He says, "We're just writing some new pamphlets."
Right.
He says, "We're stirring up trouble. You know how it is."
Sure.
Looks at you.
I'm surprised to see you in.
Oh,
place.
his knuckles are all blooded.
Yes, exactly. A place where the written word tends to be created.
He says, "Oh, they're, you know, sorting things out." And he smiles.
Okay, good.
It's funny, isn't it? You've been my brother now.
Well, in law, yes.
He says, and he smiles. "Yeah." Leans on the table. "So what are you here for? Need any help?"
No, completely fine.
Father wants to meet you.
What? Your father?
Yeah. He's very interested to meet you. You know, you're the reason that he agreed to the marriage.
Right. Why?
Oh, you know why.
That?
He liked the cut, you know, of the way you do things.
Right. Yes. Oh.
And he smiles.
Are we talking about the thing? The event? Yes, we are.
He likes you. He wants to meet you. He's up at the palace just now, though. I'll tell him you're here.
No, please don't.
Oh, you're not going to be going up to the palace. They'll just kidnap you.
Yes, exactly.
Don't worry about my father. He's on side.
Okay, good to know. Like, of all the people to be on side of everything that's happened, these fucking knuckle-dragging, mouth-breathing assholes. Right, okay, well, which obviously I don't say out loud.
Obviously.
Yeah.
This your man, is he?
Yes, this is...
You got a letter? Why are you getting it printed? What are you doing? Come on, you can tell me.
How actually literate is Absalom?
Oh, Absalom, the worst thing about Absalom is he's clever.
Oh, shit.
That's the worst thing about him.
Yeah, it's not...
He loves hitting things. That much is certain. His younger years in a mercenary company have changed him. You know that he has murdered many people quite illegally and got off with it every single time.
Yeah.
He doesn't like to be crossed. He likes to get his own way, and he puts on this scheme of civility. But he has spent most of his lives with the lower orders of folk and mixing with mercenaries pretty much all of his life.
Okay, it's thinly veiled until you feel a knife point.
Yeah, and you have seen him turn on people. Never you, though. I mean, you're from a good family. Yeah. He liked you.
Yeah, well...
And he wasn't bad when he was on your side.
No, but you look back and you sort of see things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's a League of Karl Franzer right to the end.
Yeah. Just writing sort of a few prose things, theoretical pieces that need to be distributed around.
What are you up to?
Nothing. Really.
You're up to something.
No,
You're a clever lad,
no.
ain't you? You're a clever lad. What's he up to? He turns around and asks Lucas. Lucas says, pardon? He says, what's your fella up to? You need to ask him.
Yes, no, just watching him sort of bear down upon Lucas.
He's not even moving. He's just looking at him.
I know, but it's, you know what
But
I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
No, Absalom. Sorry, I. If you must know,
Trotty was what you used to call him.
Yes, I know what I used to call
I'm just
him.
making sure that you are aware of what sort of way you're presenting yourself to him.
Yeah. If you must know, it's a few letters.
So why do you need them printed?
Well,
I mean, how many people are you sending them to?
About, give or take, a few thousand.
Oh.
Theoretically.
Oh, now I am interested.
Yes, it seems to me.
I am interested.
From what I ever heard, a line to what you've got going.
You fuckers, that.
Okay.
Oh. You, of course. Sit down. Says, pulls out a bottle of wine and pops it between you. Oi, fuck off. Lucas goes, right, of course.
No, it's...
I don't like this. As his face falls to panic as you say no.
Lucas, you can stay. He is my...
Fuck off now.
Alright, Lucas, you can go. No, it's fine.
And he looks at you. What are you up to?
I honestly don't really know. If I put it out there.
No, the Emperor wants you dead. Actually dead. It's gone past wanting you. He wants you dead. I heard you were dead.
I am dead.
Was that you?
Might have been. If you must know.
Alright. Oh God, I think I prefer you dead. I mean, that's something to get angry about, you know. Emperor not doing his duty. If you disappear, that's nothing. Dead, that means something. But I think my father wouldn't be too happy if I did that. That'd be two corpses, I suppose. That'd be confusing. That would ruin the messages. You know.
Exactly. So
it says, you might like this. Pulls up a big leather satchel. He throws it out. The Emperor murdered my son. It says at the top. And it's an image of you. And underneath it, a relatively short piece about how you have been murdered by the Emperor's troops on the road. And they claim that it was a Sergeant Flaster that was responsible.
Oh no! Oh no! What have we done?
Oh no!
There are consequences to actions.
He says, don't worry. Fella's not going to be telling a different tale.
How long have we been here? 3 days?
No. There's only been a full day. And you're leaving not tomorrow, but the day after. At least that's the intent. You think? Maybe earlier, if you have to.
That news has travelled fast.
It has travelled fast. They're jumping on it.
Who penned this?
I mean,
sorry. Yeah.
Ultimately, the family.
And when you say the family, do you mean?
Well, that's you and me, isn't it?
Yes, I thought you did.
Don't look so sad. This is good.
Which of the family?
Well, we've got an hero. You know, 3-4 months down the line, when we've got this out, you know, got everyone really angry. Once we've done that, you can come back. That's great. Marvellous. That's assuming your brother don't die. He's already marshalling forces in the south.
Which...
It's going to war. We're ready for it.
Right. Yes, so this is sort of what I wanted to avoid a little bit.
Yeah, well, tough. It's what your father wants, it's what my father wants, it's what's happening. My father would never have signed up if it weren't for that. You know what he's like. He's been spoiling for a fight for some time.
Yes. Absalom, if I must be direct.
I would say that's a good idea.
Yes. Here's the thing. I'm not particularly the biggest fan of this approach. I'm not the biggest fan of your father. I'm not the biggest fan of you. Or, if I'm completely honest, of my father and also of my elder brother.
Brave. Your elder brother's an idiot.
Well...
I mean, a nice enough fella, but he's no match to my sister.
Sure, but he's also my brother, and if I have to show loyalty to some point, I will always back that piece, even if I do say so myself.
Well, he's my brother too.
Exactly.
Are we not seeing eye to eye? Gerhardt.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
And what are you saying? You know I like it nice and simple.
Well, as I've said, so I suppose simply, I'm not a fan of this union.
Don't matter.
Good. Well, at least we're talking straight on that front. Strangely, I hate to see that it's come to that. Looking at what you're trying to do with this document and what I've got in my hand, or was coming here to pen, both look somewhat similar.
So you're saying that our purposes here align? Isn't that funny how it turns out? I knew I was right about you.
Well, actually, no. Do you know what it does point out? And I have to thank you, because ultimately, it's probably stopped me making more of a mistake than I anticipated. You've been a good mirror, I suppose.
Yeah, well, isn't it funny? Thoughts. When I was in, he says, philosophy 1. So it's impossible to imagine it as he leans forward. My lecturer, he came up to me and he said, there is a big difference between deed and action. And I said, I don't understand you. What do you mean they're the same thing? And he says, not to me. Not to me. Because one is what you're doing. The other one is what you want to do. Your deeds. It's the things that you try. And I was like, no. I disagreed with him. I didn't like his definition. I said there were just two synonyms for the same thing. He were trying to get out of a particular trouble that he might have landed himself in. My lecturer. But what I think he were trying to say when he stopped panicking and got him to clean himself up afterwards is that you've got what you do and you've got what you think you're doing, what you'd like to do, but in the end it's what you do that matters, and that's why I like you. That's why I told my father that this was an opportunity, because you speak a lot of bullshit. But your actions, no, they talk. Yo, my father's gonna like you, and you might not like that he likes you, and you might think that you're better than this, but the alternative is your entire family dies. And that won't be by me or by my father. That will be by the Emperor and his agents. Like it or not, we're on your side. And we're only on your side because of you, really. You're the right sort of person to get the job done. And I like that. The Empire's going to burn. The question is, who do you want to win? Do you want it to be the Emperor, the mutant-loving Emperor? Or would you like it to be someone like your father or your brother? It's starting here. It's starting now, whether you like it or not. You know, you can run away if you want. Or you can grasp it, make a difference. And I know you want to make a difference. I could see this face. I remember when you pushed him. It was that face I saw. You were quiet. You were angry at yourself. But you were mostly angry at yourself because you knew it was the right thing to do. It had to be done. Actions, you see? That's why I like you. You've been speaking bullshit for a whole year. Oh no, I'm not interested in all these women as you watch those women being taken. Oh no, I'm not interested in all that drink as you watched everyone get drunk. You watched people get hurt and you didn't care because you were on the right side. But then when action was required, you were right there. You stepped up and you did what had to be done. And the Emperor knows it. The Emperor knows what happened. We know that because my father just told him.
Hence.
Hence it makes a very good story for why you're dead.
Well, hence the disinheritance as well, I suppose.
Yeah. He says, my father's playing the political game. I'm playing the game on the street, so to speak. Quite enjoying myself, if I tell the truth. Getting into a scrap or two, you know how it goes. You know what I like to do. I don't really care what you do. You can help, you can hinder. See, one thing about the Trots is we keep our word. It's as simple as that. Like your father. I'll say one thing for your father. He keeps his word.
Yes, he's very good at that.
Yeah. And we like that. My father likes that. And my father's no betrayer. Neither am I. So, you see, what would you rather have as an ally? What would you rather be on side with? I'm really glad I met you. He says, take a drink. Even if you walk out of here, hate me forever. He says, I ain't gonna change a single thing. Deeds are gonna be the only bits that matter, or actions, whatever he tried to call them as he shit himself. What you do, that's what's gonna make the difference. What you say means fuck all.
Just before you go, Absalom.
I'm not going anywhere yet. I've got a print to do.
Oh, right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, then if that's the case, just before I go, Gerhardt stands, downs the wine. Big mouthful. Probably a little too much, like there's a small, comes out the side of the mouth. When you say betrayal, I think the thing that you need to think of is, as you say, action or deed. And going back to philosophy,
Two actions.
You probably should think around this, which is empire or emperor.
Says, we're fighting for the empire. Not the emperor. He's a mutant loving, well, I wouldn't like to blaspheme. Takes a drink. He's gonna fall.
Well,
he's gonna fall.
We'll see, I suppose.
Well, the alternative is that we're all dead. At the moment, we're doing that dance, you know, where we're all doing things that we shouldn't, and everyone's deciding whether they should try and crush us or not. When does everyone make the move? Which means that people like us that make moves, we get really far ahead, you know. My father ain't done nothing wrong. They're trying to prove that he's somehow involved with all of the riots, because they know he is. But there's nothing they can actually do, which means that he can wander around court spreading what they think is poison. But it's not poison. He's spreading the truth, which my father very much appreciates. There's at the door. Yep. Goes. He's here. Should have run quicker.
Should have what?
Run quicker.
I should have.
You really should have.
Oh, bollocks. Right.
My father's just been speaking to the von Ostlands, seeking support. You know him?
I've met some, yes.
Well, odd buggers. He says, but the rich. And that's what we need a lot of just now. Money. We'll get it one way or another. And the door opens. There's not much familial resemblance. Almost enough to make you think that this is not his father. He's slender, small, almost, about 5'6". Slight, almost. But you know a few things about this man. This man has been a terror on multiple fronts, multiple armies, and it's hard to imagine how, actually seeing him face to face. You met him once when you were young, and there was, at that point, a mighty argument going on because he had somehow found a loophole allowing him to hire an enormous number of mercenaries and not break the state law arrangement that had been put in place by Magnus to ensure that no single noble could ever be in a position where they could potentially rise up. But the very advantage, the very loophole that is now benefiting your father, because militarily moving against him just now is effectively impossible if he has Trot support. He has probably a larger army if you include all of your father's troops as well, than the Emperor's Altdorf army, especially given it's split between the capital and Ubersreich. It's febrile. He looks almost effeminate. Again, not what everyone expects. As he comes in, he goes, "Oh, is this him?" "Hello." Puts out his hand. "It is a pleasure to meet you." He is a duke and an important man in the Empire. And also, apparently, related to you, sort of.
It's a handshake.
He shakes and sits down. "Absalom?" "Yeah?" "Get out." "Father?" Looks his way down. "Hello. So you're Gerhardt?" Now, that's not what I expected. Not the way he described you. I expected you to be taller. But I hear that you've got a good mind. Do you agree?
I tend to have a very unique way of looking at things, if that's what you're asking.
Good. You're a problem. I need you dead.
Right, okay.
But I don't think that killing you is at all wise for me just now. Nor your father, plus I promised that if I found you, I would not move against you. Interesting that your father demanded that as part of our negotiations. As if he thought that I might do such a thing. Of course I wouldn't, you know, he says, relative. No, I won't be drinking that swill. He looks at the bottle of wine and looks back. What are you doing in Altdorf? I heard that you were dead. I hoped that you were dead. I saw a body. It looked like your body. I didn't know much about you. Much paler.
Yes, well, that's different things.
Was that you? Oh, I like this. Oh, I like you a lot. If only I had another daughter. He says, I should have married her to you. You're a better match. I'm sorry to say that your brother is not the smartest. You're intelligent. Look at you. You're terrified. I understand. How old are you?
22.
Yeah, 22.
All that, yes.
He says, oh, you've got a lot of growing to do. Well, this is going to make a man of you. What do you think we should do with you? Should I arrest you? It doesn't seem wise. If your father found out, he'd be upset. I could spirit you back to him.
Okay, well,
He might like that.
Here's an idea.
Yes.
I think you just let me go.
Well, of course you do.
Well, no, not just from a self-sustaining point of view. Look at what has been done already. As you've already congratulated me on it.
Oh, I see. You're going to petition your intelligence free is more important than your intelligence constrained. Perhaps you would be useful as a, says, advisor. No, I wouldn't like to have you by my side. Says,
no,
you'll complain.
Quite likely, and probably not the best advisor in that position.
Absalom tells me that you're a heartless cunt.
Well, you know Absalom.
I do. Rather well.
Yes.
And he does not bandy around such words easily. Normally he would say something like, I don't dislike him. But no, he went the fool way. You know what we're doing, don't you?
What?
Do you want me to lay it out nice and simply?
I feel like you're going to anyway, so...
Yes, you're right, I am. We're going to bring him down.
The Emperor?
Of course.
Yes. Here's something that you probably have not thought of.
Oh, do enlighten me. And he leans back into his chair and smiles. Oh, do please tell me. What have I not thought of?
You've seen my body.
I have.
Correct? Or
yes.
What looks like it. And then you see me here standing before you.
Yes.
Okay. Have you thought that the Emperor could be in a similar position?
And what do you mean?
That the Emperor who is currently making moves and...
is not the Emperor himself. Replaced with one of his own doubles, probably. Well, from what I hear, he's somewhat infirm.
and that they've been placing doubles on the throne for some time because he's ill behind the
Yes.
scenes.
Not those doubles. I know those doubles. I've met those doubles. I don't mean those doubles. I mean the
You think he
real-
has a secret brother like you do?
You think a brother, do you?
Well, I think it's almost certainly a brother. Your father has a significant number of known bastards, and it is well placed, perfectly placed, for there to be one that looks like you. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if he's just simply your body double, used for exactly that purpose.
Now,
Better than the Emperor's, might I say.
that's quite interesting because Absalom said that you were very smart, and everything that I've heard about you is that you're very smart.
I'll do toil.
But surely you would have put two and two together and understood that the difference between a bastard and a double and a complete copy.
You think he's a copy?
Did you not see him?
I saw him, but he was a corpse.
Okay, well,
I mean, there's a passing resemblance, but I can't say that I paid that much attention to him in the same way that I didn't pay that much attention to you when I first walked in the room.
well,
You are convinced he is your absolute double. Or perhaps there's magic involved.
perhaps. But if that being the case is...
Why do you think that the Emperor has been replaced by a double? That's your suggestion. Do you have any proof of this? Whispers.
I merely think that the actions that he has taken are ones
He's
that
ill.
are... Illness is illness. It's not necessarily the things that would
He is ill.
I think the Emperor, be him ill or not, would not allow, not without real
Oh,
solid...
bless your young self. He says, no, I think you're very wrong in this one.
Okay, well,
Look, see, right is on my side. The cult of Sigma will fall behind what I eventually propose as an alternative. Your father knows this also. The Wolfens are quite keen to support this particular setup as well.
the Wolfens are
Wolfens.
the old...
They're the old line that used to rule in the
Yeah.
south. Magnus the Pious effectively put them down.
Yeah, there's, what, one left?
No, there's a family,
Yeah.
but the Duke, well, the Archduke, in fact, the Archduke of the Upper Teuffel, who your dad effectively reports into, but it's a courtesy title.
Mm-hmm.
The title's actually held by the Emperor. He has no title. He just sits there being the Archduke with a right to sit on, for example, the Prime Estates. He's allowed to sit there and take a vote, but he effectively is nothing more than the Emperor's mouthpiece. He has to do what he's told.
Yeah.
And he tries to work his way around that, but he's from a proud line, and he's a proud old man, a soldier at that. And it wouldn't surprise you to hear if he was very easily moved to replacing the Emperor. The promise in return would probably be, you can be Archduke again.
Yeah.
A return to the way it should be.
The old glories.
Yep, absolutely. What Magnus removed. And Magnus is a southerner as well, from the Bildhofen line. Oh, you can, just hearing that makes you go, oh yeah, that's another ally on their side.
Yeah. Well,
It's-
look,
It's happening, boy.
well, I'm sure it is.
This isn't the first time there's been, shall we say, difficulties. Get used to it. All right, if you're so clever, what do you see as an alternative to our sick, mutant-loving Emperor who is giving it everything that we require to put him down?
Well, I don't know yet, if I'm completely honest.
Well, minds more informed than yours are already moving,
I'm sure they are. So I need to get myself more informed.
and you want to be free. He says,
I have my own hypothesis, and I need to see if that is a theory or if that is actually correct.
it's in here something. Here we go. And he pulls out a scroll. It's your patented ability.
Oh, of course it is.
And he rolls it up. Very useful, of course, to claim our good corpse as you. That took a little bit of work to secure. It was held. Actually, truth be told, it was held in the Light College in the Chamber Unbreachable.
In the Light College.
In the Light College. They wanted it hidden far away from any particular prying eye. They've dropped it in with the very worst artifacts that the Empire has secured and couldn't destroy. And your patent invisibility was there. He puts it on the table in front of him. I don't know what to do with you. Can you fight?
No.
Time to learn, boy. Your father was remiss in his duties in that regard. Time to learn. Because if I let you go, they're going to try and kill you. Or capture you. Or use you. I'm just trying to determine whether you're more useful to me, hidden away, or whether the disappointment that you will carry because of that will sour that particular water. Which it will. But what is it you probably said to my son? Don't need you to like me. Did you say that?
Something along those lines, yes.
Absalom is very good. He says, you tell me what you want to do. He says, as he reaches down, picks up papers that were being organized by the previous inhabitants of the room, takes out a quill, starts dipping. You tell me what you want to do, and I'm going to decide where I'm going to let you do it.
Right. Shit. Okay.
Take your time if you must. You have until I finish this letter. And if you don't decide on anything and you fail to impress me, I wouldn't put you in a jail. I think that would upset your father, if he found out, of course. But I will give you to Absalom.
Gosh, I need Lucas and Leopold.
Yeah, you do. But you don't have them.
All right.
He smiles. My wife would like you.
Here is something that I could do that would allow me to get out of this room.
Yes. Are you saying that as you, or are you saying?
I'm saying this to...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
As you know, because Absalom has told you, I have done some things.
Yes, you have.
Something at that point which was to save the Empire, which now potentially damns it. And you wish to move against the Emperor, correct?
I am moving against the Emperor.
Okay.
As is your father.
You and my dearest father are moving against the Emperor.
And your brother, of course.
Yes. Well, how would you like a whole family of dwarves or clan at your back? You see, when one
Taps the quill against his cheek.
when somebody does something that they potentially regret, you tend to spend some time in doing some research and seeing what the actions of your action impact upon the world. And it turns out that for the death of a certain individual, a dwarf was framed. A dwarf who was gone under the name of Olgenson. Now I know...
You need say no more. Frame his son. That is all you need say. And you were there, and you are willing to swear to that lie.
Well, I would... It's not a lie.
Strictly.
It's actually true.
Strictly, I agree.
No, it's not a lie, it's true. Dwarf did not do it.
Yes, but we're the culprit.
Well, not telling the truth and lying is a different thing.
That is an interesting proposition, dearest Gerhardt. An interesting proposition, and I quite like it. What clan were they from? Do you know?
Olgenson.
No, that's his name, his clan.
Oh,
You do know it's Gazani.
thank you. I've only got Olgenson written down. Gazani. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. The Gazani clan. Oh my. They're in Middenheim.
Yes. So,
The Gazani clan.
pressure from the north and the south for what you're trying to achieve.
Do you have proof? Other than your word?
My word, and if against this, pointing to my own patent and nobility, cannot be challenged. Also those of others in that room, including your son.
That is a compelling argument.
I actually think it's worth more than me leaving this room in the first place.
Yes, I can tell you're fishing for your patent.
I am, yes.
Says, and you've baited your hook well. You baited your hook rather well. Now my question is, do I have confidence in you? Absalom tells me that I should. I like you, Gerhardt. Dearest boy, I like you. I do like you. That is not something I had considered. We've been trying to stir up some issues. But this is a very different line. And it's not what I had thought of. Your father won't like this one bit. Your father has a very strong sense of honor when it comes to the dwarves. We have already noticed this has caused disagreements between us. But this I like. This I like a lot. And the justification is clear. I can even see when they investigate, the line is clear. He's in the West. He's in the West March. And the fool has damned himself. It makes his son look guilty. Yes. Poor innocent child. Now, do I need you free to do that? That's the next question.
Well, suffice to say...
Why do you want to be free? Other than the fact that you clearly dislike having your hands tied. You'd be safer.
What, if I was in prison?
No, with your family.
Oh. Well, if you must know, I honestly believe that I can do more good out in the world rather than taking the same position.
What do you think should happen to the Emperor?
Well, right now, from everything that I've seen and known, I think change is required. And if I'm completely honest, I think that change can either come from the Emperor himself, if petitioned to listen to reason properly and petitioned in the right way, or, and this is the way that it would appear you are trying to take, which I'm not entirely on board with, but...
Then you have a simple choice ahead of you. It's very easy. It's not difficult at all, actually. On the one hand, you have got our current Emperor. I barely even want to use the word to describe him. He's feeble. He's ill. He's making deep errors and mistakes. And he has opened himself up completely. His heart is on display for us to stab something into it. His court can't act without him, but he's not acting. There's riots in the streets that he's not putting down because he's afraid to move against the clear forces that are involved with it. He's been here to rant and to rave. He is infirm, but he has his allies. And his allies are not and will not retreat. So the alternative is we accept him or we take him down. That is it. He is not going to do your optimistic choice, your convince him round. It's too late. That might have happened 2 years ago, but he's moved now. He's already made the mistakes. It's an untenable position. So your choice is that you accept he has to be removed. And you swear it before the gods, right now, that he has to be removed, and that you will do everything in your power to ensure that that is the outcome that we achieve. Or alternatively, on the other side, you say that no, you would rather dilly and dally. You would rather find a bush to beat around for a while, not make the decisions that have to be made. Be weak and slow like our emperor. And if that is what you want to do, then so be it. What would be your preference, young Gerhardt?
See,
I'm not looking for an argument now. I'm looking for an answer.
well, if you're looking for an answer from those two options,
I prefer fixed agendas.
yes, I prefer ones that can be,
I care little for your preference.
well,
I'm the one with the power here.
I agree. No, in this situation, very much all powerful. So I will choose option A.
Good boy. See, that's what Absalom said about you. You were a deep thinker, but you always came to the correct conclusion. I trust Absalom. He's a blunt instrument, but we need blunt instruments. They're required. I appear to have finished my letter. So, let me hear you swear to the gods then.
Which ones will you have me swear to?
Oh, let's keep it simple. Let's go for Verena.
Okay.
She'll do.
Verena is the
Goddess of wisdom,
wisdom,
justice.
law, all that sort
Yeah,
of stuff.
indeed. Justice, arguably more than law,
Okay.
but yes.
All right. Then,
In your own words.
by Verena, I swear that when time comes to it, and if required, I shall aid in the removal of the current emperor who sits upon the throne.
You've missed the bit about doing everything in your power to ensure that that outcome comes to pass.
And I shall ensure that everything within my power shall be put towards that outcome.
I do like you. You are. Not what I expected. Absalom painted you far more mealy-mouthed. He likes you, but mealy-mouthed. I finished my letter to your father. Where do you travel to next? Are you going north or south? Don't lie, I have people.
No, that's true. It would appear that everybody has people and can find me very quickly.
I hope not.
Well, you'd be surprised. South, we intend to go.
Then if you're going south, give that to your father.
Oh, balls.
There's nothing on it.
Okay.
Clearly. I've not been writing a letter for that time. And he passes it over.
Okay.
He does nothing. You strangely stretch around him.
Silent nerves.
Yep, absolutely. As you can go. I need to speak to my son.
May I take this?
Yes, it'd be useful to you.
Nice.
I don't mind if you die.
Well,
So should it all turn out for the worst, please ensure that your corpse is disposed somewhere where it won't be found. At the moment, it's much easier for me if you're dead.
fantastic. Well,
Send my son in.
much the same. Goodbye.
Goodbye. On the outside, there's two big, it's not unfair to call them soldiers or mercenaries. Let's say people
looking down at Lucas, who's sitting in a chair like this. Just looking down. Absalom is sitting down beside the front desk, where the woman is looking quite scared. And looks over. So looks at you. Well, I did not expect you to come out of that room alive. I wondered if your good sense would get in the way of your good sense, you know? Good job. I knew you were a good un. Here, lads. See this fella? It's my brother, that is.
Lucas, time to go.
Right. And looks at the two. They back off. Right, yes, good. Comes over to you. Good?
It's fine.
Right. As Absalom looks at you. Oh, you just going? You don't want to go for a drink?
Just walking.
See ya! On the outside. I didn't know if you were going to come out of there alive, my lord.
No, Lucas.
You know he was trained by Valancourt. Valancourt, you've heard of, one of the finest fencers that apparently existed in Null before your time. But you've heard of him. I think that says something in and of itself.
I had heard as much. But here I stand. We're okay. You're okay?
I'm all right.
Okay.
I thought we might be killed.
Yes, I'm not going to lie. That was that's not nice. But I think we might be okay. And I think I might have gotten us. Well, number one, I got this.
Is that your patent?
Yes,
What did he have your patent
Yeah,
ability?
my patent. So
What, so that they could claim that was your body, of course.
yes.
How did he secure it?
No idea, but I think my friend is dead.
Right. So, is it time to return?
I think it's almost time to return. I need to do.
That is not the words I wanted to.
I know, but I need to do one more thing on the way back.
Well, shall we? This is not a good place to find a cab. It's far too. We should perhaps make our way over to the zoo. There'll be cabs there.
Oh, the zoo. Oh,
No, it's not the time.
No, it's not the time. It would be good though. It would raise in the spirit. No, it doesn't matter. We need to do something good before we leave the city. And
how did you avoid his ire? He's got a temper, I hear.
Yes, I can see it. It's cold and sharp, I imagine.
Was it not delivered unto you? Well, that's something. Was it a deal with your father?
It was a deal with me, and I have handed him something that he can use.
Oh dear.
I think people may die because of it, but I'm beginning to.
Are you all right, my lord?
No, I'm not actually. So we need to do something proper.
What would you like to do?
We need to find. You know the girl that's working to try and get Quincy.
Yes.
Do you know her? Could you find her again?
Yes, I know where she works.
Okay, so we are going to find her tonight, and we are going to make sure that she is set up well and right.
Yes, he says. Yes. That I think is not. That is good. Are you sure you're all right?
I think we, yes, I think I'm okay. I think I need to listen to some music or something. I need to...
Perhaps Elemenowith can bring us a less mournful air.
Maybe, maybe.
We could just go to an inn?
I think I might not have come off better in that conversation. But I think I might have not come off worse either.
Well, that is something. Take what victories you can?
Yes. And I'll tell Andy exactly why I think that's okay.
What's going on in his head?
Also, Lucas, I've had another thought that might have come to the reason why things are happening. But again, I think I should tell everybody when we're all together again. If we're all together again. Oh, we need to find the others as well. Make sure that they're okay and get back to the boat.
You know, we're probably being followed.
Yes, quite likely. So, I've got to get back to the boat. All right, fine. Then if that's the case, I know a place where we can go to avoid detection. I just need to look up my document very quickly.
Excuse me as I reference my memories.
Yes, exactly. Lucas, are you aware of, for lack of a better term, a local whorehouse by the name of the Parted Skirts?
But no, would be the answer to that one.
Okay,
I'm sorry to say.
One does exist, and it was a haunt of one of my old friends. Occasionally, he is remarkably good at, well, for lack of a better term, getting free rides, which, as you can imagine, in a whorehouse.
In a whorehouse is something to be. Well, at least your humour's still intact, my lord.
Yes. So maybe that might help us in this situation. Suffice to say, he knew how to make a quick exit from most establishments, and specifically this one, very much so. So our plan is now to go to a whorehouse, and I know a good exit from said house, thanks to my good friend Edwin, whose second name is also.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. You don't want to be followed.
No. So in we go. Lock
So,
the door.
to a cab then.
Exactly.
You think it goes according to plan?
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah. You get into the cab. You take your cab to the Parted Skirts, which is apparently over on the south side of the East End. You drop in there. You spend a little bit of coin.
Pay for my travel.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give you the total amount after. You spend a little bit of extra coin for the good lady, pass through that chamber, down through the back corridor and out through the other side, and find yourself confronted with a man.
Bugger.
Oh no, there's two.
Oh, bugger.
A short fellow, hello again, and a larger fellow. And you half expect him to give you some sort of dodgy hand signal, because that's what he did when you met him on the plats.
Right.
As he looks at you and says, I don't think we properly conveyed to you why it is important that you, as a crossbow bolt, goes into his eye and passes out the back of his skull. What the fuck did that come from? And you hear another boom, and it passes by your ear, and it hits the wall and clatters down the back alley where you currently are.
Okay.
The other chap, who's looking on, looks down and goes, "What'd you do? You're going down, Caster!" Thunk! As he, timber, falls backwards, looks at his chest. You can't quite understand what he says as bloody foam spills from his mouth. You fall to the ground.
Yeah.
It takes another half second before your good man, Lucas, realizes he should do the same. And he collapses down as well. There's no crossbowman or anything else in this back alley. Both of these individuals are dead. Yay?
Yay. Okay. Right. Fine. Oh God, this was gonna be an escape. Right. Let's rifle the pockets. Let's figure out who the hell these people are and why they keep doing this fucking thing.
Okay. Do yourself a perception test, please.
Oh, excellent. 4 successes.
You rummage around on the inside and pull out a letter, number one. Pull out a second letter that was inside the smaller one's pockets.
Yeah.
Money,
Okay.
4 shillings and 6pence.
Great.
Big
it.
coin. That'll cover our journey. So we'll just keep our money as where it currently is. That'll do and paying off the person. And as you're making your way through, you can't help but miss as you ring. On the inside here, there's a small tattoo. Looks almost like a purple star. Almost. How many successes did you get in your perception test?
4.
4. On the second, it's quite clear it's not a purple star because he's got exactly the same tattoo but in a different place. It's on his bicep up here in the shallow of it.
Yeah.
And it's a hand.
Oh, well, I don't really know the enemy within, but my God.
Look at all the purple hands on that side. Yeah. Purple hand.
All right.
Time to run.
Letters, obviously. But time to run.
Looking around, checking things, just making sure. Well,
No more crossbow bolts are coming. No, nothing. As you're down.
have
Nothing
they got
else.
Any weapons?
No, neither have weapons.
Oh, what am I gonna do? Okay, Lucas. I think we're okay. Are you okay?
We should run.
We should
He
probably
says, I
run.
can't believe you're still here.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I got a new jacket that might help. Just okay. Let's go. Come on.
The new jacket that resolves
that'll
it.
do it.
As you sneak your way through, do you have etiquette criminals?
Absolutely not.
Right, do yourself a stealth check, please. Stealth urban. If you don't have stealth urban, it's just your agility.
Stealth. If it's I can spend a fortune. Point
Yes, you can
to
if it's a
ramp
fail.
up to a success, yeah.
If you're just on 0 success, as in a fail, you can slip it up by
I've
1.
got 44.
Okay,
My
that will
skill
still be a
is
fumble.
40.
It will be a fumble.
I'm gonna
So
spend
something
a-
very bad will occur.
Yeah, I'm going to spend a fortune point to
We-
remove that.
The bad thing will still occur because it'll still be a fumble. It'll be a fumble with 1 success, so you'll be hidden, but something bad will occur.
Fine, I'll do the reroll then. If that's the case.
I will warn you that any fortune points that are spent during our downtime will not be there for our next session.
That's fine.
Yep, just making sure. Oh,
That's
nicely
fine.
done. Lucas has scored a success, and you've scored.
0
Yeah,
successes,
that's
so
yeah,
just-
that's enough. No one's actually looking for you here. No one is trying to capture you. It's just enough of do you stand out?
Yeah.
That new hood is making all the difference. That eye patch with the skull in it makes him look proper hard.
Yeah.
Clearly, nobody is interested in dealing with you two. As you spend a good hour ducking through the south side docks of the East End, until eventually you can pick up a cab.
Okay.
And you don't think you've been followed, but you are fully aware at how little skill you have in this particular area.
Okay.
And across the bridges, and suddenly it feels like you're back in civilization again.
Good.
Wow, there was a lot of very dodgy folk there.
Did we manage to sort out the poor girl?
I haven't even done that part yet.
Okay.
No, you were escaping and then you were going to her.
Okay, we're going to her right now. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Excellent.
Next is the girl.
Okay, fine.
Hopefully you're hidden. Hopefully you're fine. Hopefully no one knows.
We can pop up all over the city. Figure it out.
How much are you going to give her?
Right,
And you can, if you want to be as discreet as possible, you can just send Lucas in.
No, I would like to speak to her.
I
because
thought
it's-
that might be the
right.
case.
Right, how about I get her out here then?
Yes, please, Lucas, if you would be so kind.
About 10 minutes later, takes a little bit of time for her to get the time off to come out. A very average looking woman with brown hair and brown eyes, her hair in a scarf, thick woolen servant clothing, comes out.
I heard you wanted to talk to me, my lord.
Yes, hello. Sorry, I don't actually know your name.
And looks over at Lucas. He nods.
I'm not sure I should be giving it. I don't want any trouble.
It's okay.
I really don't want any trouble.
No, you're not in trouble in any way, shape, or form. I'm a friend of Quincy's.
All right. You know Quincy?
Yes.
You know they've got him in Munston Keep.
Yes. Or at least I am aware of that being the case.
Can you get him out?
So
Are you in a position where you can get him out, my lord?
Just pause, I'm afraid. Just for one moment. It's Quincy is passed into Moore's embrace.
No. They said he's in there.
Yes, I know what they might be saying, but I'm certain
No, that's not true.
it is.
Quincy's too good to be in Moore's embrace.
I know it is.
He would talk to Moore, and Moore would send him back and say, "You're too nice to me, Ted."
Yes, that you definitely knew him. That's good.
He's a good fella.
Yes, he is. He is a good fella.
No, he's not dead.
No,
And she wipes away tears.
I'm afraid he is.
No.
It's okay. It's all right.
No. I mean, I understand that you're I don't know, maybe you're trying to make me stop, but I'm going to get him out of there. I'm going to get him out of there. Don't you worry.
Okay, look, fine. I'm not going to change what you believe, but allow me to do something else then. at least set you up into a position where you are okay from. I'm going to give her 2 gold. All right.
What's this for?
The first one, if possible, is to get Quincy out. Right? Now I know they're asking for, what was it, 7 shillings?
Only 7 shillings.
Which is, this covers more than enough.
Yeah.
Now I need you to
I'll get him out, don't you worry.
I'm sure you will. And if they're only asking for 7 shillings, I need you to think about this. How much extra is that you hold in your hand?
He ain't dead.
Okay. I know that's what you believe now. That's fine, and you need to figure this out yourself. That's okay. If that is what you hold in your hand, then this money should be able to get him out without any problems, shouldn't it? Mm-hmm. Yes, just that singular coin. Okay, so that's what this first coin is for. That's what that's for, is getting Quincy out. Now, when it doesn't, or if it doesn't, the second coin is for you and yourself. Okay. What I want you to do is, Lucas, come here 1 second.
Lucas, bobs over.
Turn around. I need your back.
Turns around.
Paper.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to take this letter of introduction to a friend of mine. His name is Alfie. That is his name. Yes.
Alfred. Yes.
His name is Alfie. He lives in a nice cottage near the university, and it's quite likely that he's looking potentially for some more help around the house. He should take you on. Okay, you tell him that you knew Quincy and Quincy's friend. Then that should be enough without getting you in any sort of trouble.
I'll get him out, don't you worry.
Yes.
Oh, Quincy can tell him.
No, I'm sure he can. I'm sure he will. But if not, well, even during, and if you're trying, still go, still take this letter, still have this introduction, okay? And he'll look after
Thank you, my lord. I'll get him, don't you worry.
I'm sure you will. All right.
I'm going now.
Okay, all right, good.
I'm not sure that's wise. He says she's working just now. She'll lose her job. Perhaps you'll get a new one from Alfred.
That's the point.
He says, assuming that Alfred's in a place to provide it.
Hopefully. Well, all we can do is... Oh... The only other person is Percival, maybe?
I think you made the correct choice.
Yeah, probably. Percival's a little backwards sometimes.
Back to the barge?
I think so, yes.
You arrive back at the barge late in the evening. Joseph is necking a bottle.
Okay.
He sees you there and he calls out, "Want a bottle?"
Yes, please, Joseph.
He says, "Come down, I'll tell you a tale," he says, "of the time we passed Kemperbad, and I'm telling you, I swear I saw a witch flying through the sky." Wasn't. He says,
witch?
It wasn't, but just wait till you hear what it actually was.
Oh, this sounds good. Oh, good, excellent.
He says, sit down. He says, how about you? No, I think I need to go and write some more letters. He says, enjoy your drink, my lord.
Thank you, Lucas, for everything that you've done today. Joseph, do you have games, cards, something
he says,
enlivening?
You look like you've had a rough day.
No, this is merely the sight of a man who has
Passes
enjoyed
over a whole bottle.
Excellent. A lot of culture.
He says, well, I do like a bit of culture, but first, let me tell you about this witch. And you sit down, play cards, drink. No one else returns to the barge that evening.
That's worrying.
It is a little bit. The next day, Joseph pops off to go do his thing, and it's fair to say that you and Lucas have a day of loose paranoia, where you're looking out and you can't help but look over towards the many folk that are gathering out. And are they looking for you? Are they spies? Are they not? Let's stay below decks for most of it. It's a tough day. Eventually, though, as the day ends, folk slowly return. Birdie is first. She comes back at about 6 and is full of apologies. She got caught up with business, an unexpected business. I'll let her explain that after. Leopold comes back last. So let's do it now. Elric will come back next. He's very keen to leave. We'll worry about that equally when Elric's done his.
Alamenowith will come back in the late evening. She is, it's fair to say, dressed like a street whore, with a big long cloak covering it. She's all legs, and it's far too much on display for what you would normally expect. She seems entirely comfortable with this, unbothered, as she slinks off to her chamber and will say whatever she decides to say.
Okay, fine. Well, let it be known that the coin I took from Leopold's purse
has been yeah, you tell him. That was a slightly more stressful tale than we expected.
Fucking hell, Andy.
I'll do experience with everyone else's experience when we get there, but other than that was Leopold's fine time in Altdorf. He definitely enjoyed that one.
Gerhardt's.
No, not Leopold. You know, look, fix it in post, edit it. We won't. We'll just let it stand. Whoa, that was quite a thing. See y'all later.
Goodbye.